there's I think it's Jenny Nichols or son on YouTube. She did this whole thing about this church group that every year does it's like the death and resurrection of Christ. That's a parody of a really famous movie that came out that year. And she did went down the list of 20 years in a row. And it's like, if Christ was in the Avengers, if Christ was in Star Wars, if Christ was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Jesus Christ on the cross. Well, that just happened.
Being stabbed by Pontius Pilate.
He's right behind
coming.
Welcome to Lights Camera Barstool, episode 50 of season 2. Jeff Lowe, Ken Jack, Chris Castellani, Gooch. We are talking about a lot of shit again this week. It's gonna be the case for many weeks. The show's gonna have a lot of things. I don't know what we're gonna do when Andor and Lord of the Rings are out. They come out on different days. No, because we only have one of these a week. What am I talking about? That's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. And we do have a lot of things to talk about today. We have, I almost said Lord of the Rings. No, it's still Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, episode 2, released on Sunday night. We have a second episode of She-Hulk we can discuss. And also we are reviewing the Indian movie, the Tollywood movie RRR, which is on Netflix. It's been out for a little while now, but one of the more viral movies of the year. There's an interesting way of putting it, and a movie that Ken Jack, I believe you saw. You for sure saw it first. I saw it a few weeks ago. It is. I'll tell you what. It is an easy top 5. I think must watch. Like people may not like it, though. We'll talk review wise. I do think most people will. In terms of entertainment value. Hard pressed to find something more wildly entertaining this year, especially on Netflix. I'll say early now, very bummed I never saw this in theaters.
Yeah,
super bummed I never saw it in theaters.
I was going to say in theaters too, but they only had the Hindu version. I want to watch it in the original language, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait until it's in a different theater. And I waited too long, and it just passed out of theaters. Which sucks.
This is very Well, we'll get into it. I was looking up if this would get nominated as their Oscar pick, and I was looking up some the history of Indian movies in the Oscars, and we can talk about that when we do the review. Before we get into it, because I also have to share a trailer that I watched last week that isn't new, but we've never discussed it on here. We'll do that in a minute, but first, this episode brought to you by Game Time, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time, the ticketing app, makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sporting events, concerts, shows. Guarantee lowest price right there. You want to, I guess preseason's over. You could have gone to that the Chargers-Rams preseason game with that wild fight in the end zone the other day.
Exactly. We had a blast. Or going to watch Lions versus Seahawks or some shit.
But now
3 picks. That would have been the fun one.
Now, Game Time, go there to get NFL regular season tickets. Maybe you're a Nebraska fan and you went on Game Time to go over to Ireland.
Did you hear what happened over there?
The beer, it was awesome.
The beer, that's incredible.
Did you all see the thing that in Ireland, new drivers, when you're driving for the first time, you have to get a red letter N on the back of your window. So if someone's like, there's going to be Nebraska fans that come to Ireland and they think that there's just all these Nebraska fans driving around Ireland. It's like the same N, same font, same red. Go to if you're in New York, go to the U.S. Open. Go see Harry Styles. He's playing 4,000 shows at MSG.
That's right.
Or go to an NFL game. NFL Week 1 is not this weekend, but the weekend after that. Hell yeah. Yeah, Game Time is great. Been to a couple baseball games. I know, Chris, you and Mincy, you guys went to the College World Series. Game Time was a big reason for that.
For sure.
Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login and redeem code LCB for $20 off your first purchase. LCB, $20 off your first purchase. Go to Game Time. Also, super easy to transfer tickets to. A lot of these websites I really hate the way they let you transfer tickets. It makes it really fucking screwy. And Game Time's fantastic about it. Download Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. So the other day, I got an ad. Oh, also, I got a new ad this morning for Royal Match from Kevin O'Leary, a.k.a. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, which I love. Someone who just doesn't need, for sure, does not need like this tiny cash on the side from Cameo. But no, I saw an advertisement for Back to the Future on Broadway.
What?
We've known about this for a while. It's coming to America, but it's been on West End. It's been in London for a while now. I'd actually never seen what it looked like. Have any of you seen this?
No, I didn't know it existed.
I only saw the poster of it.
Okay. I've been sitting on this for a few days now. I mean, it's not like I'm the one who discovered this, but none of you have seen this. It's fascinating, but wait until you see what Biff looks like. It blew me away. I could not stop looking at it. So here, this is Back to the Future, the musical. This is the trailer for it. Oh, wait, hold on. There you go.
Okay. I mean, the DeLorean looks good. All right. Oh boy. What the fuck? Why is it Richard Kind?
God damn it, that's what I was about to say. It looks like Richard Kind.
Kind just walked in.
He's 35 years old.
That's hilarious. That's funny too, because I quote tweeted your tweet, Jeff, just saying like, "Yo, well, obviously Ben Platt needs to play Marty McFly, but this is even more egregious."
Everyone else like pretty much looks like their character, and Biff, they're like, no.
They don't go into like Back to the Future 2 or anything, do they? Like,
no, so it's just one.
Like maybe they need a dual use actor.
The Doc Brown is okay. I mean, it honestly makes sense. It's a very musical movie. For not being a musical, it's a very musical movie. The Huey Lewis stuff, the Johnny B. Good thing. So it's not that preposterous. Also has insane reviews. Like, people love the show. I'm not shocked, but there's still something about it that just screams like SNL skit to me.
Yeah. It's like having like Predator the musical in my brain. It's just something where it doesn't require music, but I'm kind of like, I want to watch it now. Maybe we'll use game time to go watch it.
Who does like Marty McFly looks like somebody? I don't know.
Like, I've been trying to figure it out.
Hank Azaria.
Almost like Elijah Wood. I don't know. Like
that's what it is. It's like Elijah Wood.
It's like looks like Frodo a little bit. Not even Elijah Wood. Like he looks like a little bit like if his hair was a little more like long in the back. I don't know. It's just odd. The whole thing is fascinating, though.
He definitely has Elijah Wood's face shape or head shape, but I think he looks more like Hank Azaria. I think he's got like that same jaw and beady little eyes.
Back to the Future on Broadway. I mean, again, I'm like, it could be very good because it's a movie that like makes sense. Like, it's not like they said they're making like Citizen Kane into a Broadway show.
Yeah, that would suck. You think that would rule? You think if you'd go to see Citizen Kane the musical?
I might actually get through it this time.
Kind of surprised there's not been a Star Wars type thing too. Speaking of like movies from that time period, like that's a shocking thing that they haven't explored.
I wonder if
rights.
Exactly. I wonder if it's so airtight in terms of the copyright stuff. Have you seen? There's I think it's Jenny Nichols on YouTube. She did this whole thing about this church group that every year does it's like the death and resurrection of Christ. That's a parody of a really famous movie that came out that year. And she did like went down the list of like 20 years in a row. And it's like, if Christ was in the Avengers, if Christ was in Star Wars, if Christ was in like Pirates of the Caribbean. And what's bizarre is for a stage show at a mega church, it has like the costumes and production value are actually pretty good. It's just, it's like a church show. So
it oddly looks a little bit like when she did it and I saw the thumbnail, I thought it was somebody doing the Hawkeye, like Steve Rogers musical. Like it does look like.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ on the cross. Well, that just happened.
Being stabbed by Pontius Pilate.
He's right behind
coming. Fucking Jesus Christ, the first Avenger, technically speaking.
Just. I mean, I'm gonna have to go see this fucking Back to the Future show, but I couldn't. Biff, I couldn't stop thinking about Biff all weekend. Like that must be like the director's son or something, because he's the only one that doesn't look like Biff. Like all the other ones like look mostly like their character, and this Biff kid, this guy playing Biff just doesn't look like Biff.
They couldn't even give him blonde hair, like a wig or something. Like that's crazy.
Right. It's like his face doesn't need to look like him, but his hair, like that's just not Biff.
Not even close. They didn't even try.
Oh my God.
You can make some other 80s classics into Indiana Jones as a musical. That could play.
That could work.
Anything with like John Williams music I mean, just look at
Jeff,
but I get it. I get why it works. Like, because the music in Back to the Future is such an integral part of it. And there's so many memorable, one of the most memorable scenes, probably the two most memorable scenes in the first Back to the Future. We'll say three, I'll be safe, would be the opening, would be the Power of Love, and then the Johnny Be Good. So makes sense that it works.
Speaking of Huey Lewis, though, wasn't there was like confirmed a few years back they were doing an American Psycho musical.
I was about to say, yeah. I think they did.
Maybe it just went away. There was that, and there was a confirmed Fight Club musical too. I remember Edward Norton was asked about it on Conan like a decade ago, and it just never came.
Dude, you know what I just found out yesterday is that David Fincher directed Madonna's "Like a Virgin" music video, and like that was one of his first big breaks. Yeah. Like, it is wild looking at that.
We're gonna talk some Madonna here in a minute.
Yeah, we sure are.
Yeah,
Ooh, Caddyshack would be a good music.
Jeff, did you watch that? Did you watch that video I sent you of like the Hollywood night at that theme park from 1997?
Oh fuck! You sent it me, and I keep meaning to watch it.
I'll watch it. We'll talk about it next time, but it's
all right.
We should all watch it because it's like 20 minutes long, but it's so funny. You get like Austin Powers fighting Neo. It's really funny.
Love that.
All right, a lot of news. We'll get into news, but let's start off with House of the Dragon episode 2. It was the most watched premiere in HBO's history with 20 million viewers in the first week. I mean, I completely believe it. The hype. I mean, anyone who was like out on it seemed to be immediately back in on it when it started, which is great, honestly. Like I think nobody seems to be disappointed by it, which is great. But just the camaraderie around watching it is always fun. We've talked about that forever. We've always been big proponents of the weekly release schedule, or at least like a staggered release, allowing people to discuss things and enjoy things. You even look, I know like Stranger Things came out all at once, but the fact that it even had a break in the middle of the season made that a little more enjoyable too. Like it allowed for a larger discussion, and that's what's happening with Thrones. Kenjack, I'll start with you. You're the bigger Thrones guy. I mean, I should not be leading any Thrones discussion. Thoughts on the second episode?
I thought this episode was pretty damn good. You get like the classic sort of Game of Thrones, I guess like twists and turns of like the political intrigue. I really like Paddy Considine. I think we was talking about him in the last episode. He crushed it yet again in this one. The girl who plays Rhaenys, for an actress that young, I think she brings a lot of really good stage presence, which is kind of cool. And like they obviously had that big marquee moment. Or this is spoiler heavy, right? We're talking spoilers.
Spoiler for within the episode, right?
Yeah, within the episode.
Yeah. Well, and somebody actually tweeted this. We'll never spoil like future stuff from the books. I'll make that clear. Well, we won't ever reference that. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, but yeah, go ahead. If you haven't seen the new Game of Thrones House of the Dragon episode, like move on. Yeah.
But the scene where she lands with the dragon and kind of brokers that little piece, I thought was really, really well done. Matt Smith, most British looking dude of all time. Like I was actually texting Tro Ballins about it earlier today. And I was telling him like Matt Smith, he's like the definition of a British person because like centuries of inbreeding went into his facial features.
Come on.
Like so many centuries of it. And I think it just crushes that role of Damon. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I think they're hitting in good stride, at least in these first two, where it's like it leaves you on a cliffhanger where you're like, yeah, I do want to see what happens next. I want to see how this all plays out. And what's interesting that they're doing that I didn't know beforehand, it was probably talked about previously before they released the show, is how like the big time jumps that they're doing, like 6 months gap between episode 1 and episode 2. That's cool. And you see in the preview for the next episode, it's an even further gap. It's like a year gap or something like that. I think that's kind of interesting because you get to with Game of Thrones, obviously everything moves a little bit slower. But with this, you can like cover a lot more ground a lot quicker by doing these little time jumps. And I kind of like that.
Yeah,
Robbie, thoughts?
I think that was one of people's like biggest complaints on Game of Thrones the first season was like it took 6 episodes to really get people into it, like to really get going, because it moves so slow, and it's moving quick right now, really quick. I really love it. I don't know the budget, the production budget. Again, like it doesn't look as good, I don't think, as Game of Thrones, but I'm really satisfied with it. It looks better than almost anything on TV, so I'm satisfied. But Corliss, I'm ready for him to start fucking stuff up. The crab feeders at the end, that was awesome. Riding in on the dragon, that was a hell of a moment. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on this. Still, Hightower, I hate you. I really hate him.
Yes, he's good delivery though, man. Like that scene where he's just like ripping into Damon, just like every breath you take soils your family name. Like he's got good delivery. I think it's Reese Ifans or whatever.
It's he reminds me of Baelish.
Yeah. He's more aggressive, but yeah.
Yeah, he's just conniving. You can just see it in the corner. He's going to be a problem.
A big thing too, I think, about the way the show moves, and I've seen a bunch of people and fans of our show say this as well, is I think that just the focus on a smaller group of people allows it to move at a different speed too. Like that was, I mean, like a slower burner getting into things and moving around and bouncing around different characters and like a ton of houses was never like an issue for me with Thrones. Like I like that shit, but I think there's a very that's a distinct feeling with this show that I like a lot that I actually didn't think I would. I actually thought I wouldn't like it focusing on such a small thing, and I don't know, call that like I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a term for this. I don't know. Point. I like don't even really totally compare it to, but I felt as though an issue would be the fact that you're like it's not as many characters. Like there's a ton of great characters, but them focusing on one kind of smaller area as opposed to the whole fucking world basically has made it move at a speed and a pace that I like quite a bit. I really enjoyed it. Chris, did you dive into Thrones yet?
Yeah, I've been watching it. Last week I
go straight through this and then start the other one. What a trip that would be. Maybe I don't know how it'll tie in.
Yeah, I mean, I got some heat last week for saying I'd never seen an episode of Thrones. And really the reason for it is just with TV, movies, it's a bit different. But with TV, I'm not going to dive into something if I'm not going to enjoy it. Like I have no issue with fantasy, but it's very hit or miss with me. And I just based on like the little bits and pieces I'd seen and what people had said about the show, I didn't think I would particularly enjoy it. And I don't want to just jump on and watch it just to be contrarian. So, but I watched this, really great production value, actors. It's exactly what I thought it would be. Like I'm not even, I find it very boring. I find it extremely dry. And other people don't. I'm clearly wrong. Like, I mean, it's like the most popular thing in the world right now. I'll keep going with it. Just for the sake of the show. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I find it the whole thing, and maybe this will change as we go along, to be remarkably personality-less. Like, I just find these characters to be really, really dry and boring. Other people don't. That's cool. It's clearly doing insanely well. I mean, the first episode's IMDb rating was crazy good. I'm sure the second one will be just as high, if not better. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I have a very kind of like blasé attitude when it comes to television. Like, you either enjoy it or you don't. It's not particularly, my thing, but people are digging it. It's fine.
Something like worth noting about someone who's maybe never watched Thrones, by the way, I talked to my good friend, my weekly friend in my barber, Jeremy. Great guy. A bigger Marvel fan than I am. DC.
It's funny if it was Jeremy Renner in my head.
It is.
It's Jeremy Renner giving you
side job. He's a huge like nerd in our sense too. Like big Star Wars fan. Like big like Reddit spoilers. Reads all the comics, but he's never watched Thrones. Like he's never watched it, and I did not know that until last week when I said, "Did you watch House of the Dragon?" I was like, "What the fuck?" It is kind of funny though, because if you've never watched Game of Thrones but you're hyper aware of it, kind of feel like it's a hard show to dive into, and one of the most known things about the show is how much the last season sucks ass. Like I feel like that is like that's a tough thing because you look at it, you're like, wow, that's a lot of time to invest in, knowing that it's going to end and I won't be very satisfied. Like that is it's a weird kind of thing that you don't think about because what do you compare it to that have like downfalls? Star Wars, for example, you have like the prequels and shit, but I feel like it's been such like it's old. It's fucking 50 years old. It's an old series, but like this is so new in a sense that like it really kind of just came out in like the grand scheme of like movies and TV. Where if you're like, hey, you should watch, it's like, oh great, you're like, is it awesome? Yeah, ending sucks though. I'd be like, huh. I don't know if I want to binge that.
Well, I mean, that's been a big reason for it. It'd be like if you recommended the MCU to somebody, but Endgame was terrible. Like, dude, you should and Infinity War. Like, dude, you should totally go through this series. It's worth it. Yeah, they shit their brains out in the like very tail end, but it's really good. Like, it's hard to, I mean, that is the most important part of stories, how you conclude something. And
Gooch had that issue at work the other day. Someone said, should I binge all of the DCEU? And I heard him say, nah, Justice League's not very good. You shouldn't do it. Don't waste your time. don't waste your time on those two movies. It's not great. Yeah, that's House of the Dragon. Any other thoughts and anything else? Intro. Everyone's talking about the intro. I don't know. I think not. I saw some people say, like, oh, bummed they didn't do a new one, but I like the old one. If they had done a new one, there would have been a fucking uproar.
I think it's like Star Wars. Like, it's like that is the theme. Like, just stick with it. It's so good. Why would you? And it fits the period. It's
tweaked a little bit. It's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different, but I don't understand the urgency to get rid of the old. Like, it's a great theme.
Yeah,
it's
the animation on the actual graphic too was sick. Also shout out to Nick Hamilton from his animation for the Game of Stools intro was unreal.
Yeah, if you want a deeper dive, check out Game of Stools, YouTube. Also, check out Robbie Fox, Clem, My Mom's Baseball for you. Podcast form, Game of Stools. They do break it down afterwards. Yeah, I thought the Bloodline like animation thing was really fucking cool. Thought that was neat, and it clearly like skips some things and go. I thought it was neat. It's like what? It's not broke. Don't fix it.
Is there a spoiler in the intro? I posted it because it went online Sunday morning, and then I posted it on our Twitter, and someone was like, "Spoilers!" Like 2 people.
No, I think someone was mad that they wanted to watch it when it came out. Like they wanted to watch it happen live.
Come on.
Yeah, it's a fucking intro, and that's one of those like, all right, there's a limit for like how much can we call something a spoiler? Like the intro to the new Game of Thrones show may not be that.
I kind of got worried for a second. I was like, is there like a plot point in this intro?
House of the Dragon. I am still not great on names and stuff.
I'm actually kind of doing all right. I feel like it's much easier than like you said earlier, like because we're not whipping around to different areas so much, and you're just focused on like 10 characters pretty much.
For sure. I just feel like I need a little pocket guide. I'm just like, fuck.
My favorite name is the Master of Coin. His name is Lord Beesbury. Lord Beesbury. Yeah. He's like the fat round guy sitting.
That's that's like the governor in a town where everyone's a bear.
Yeah. House of the Dragon. We'll keep breaking it down, especially the more things kind of mold together in the story. She-Hulk, episode 2. I will reflect everything I said from the first one. This is not moving mountains, but I kind of like that. This is a very enjoyable show, and it seems as though I don't want to say people are eating crow, but it seems as though people are kind of admitting like, oh, this is not anywhere near as bad that I thought it would be. I actually don't even think I wouldn't even put it anywhere close to bad. I think this is very easily one of the better ones. Still a large step down from Loki, the only one that I would consider to be like flat out good from the MCU Disney Plus. I think it is the only one that I would say start to finish was good. But I really enjoy She-Hulk, and I think there's gonna be some fun shit that pops up the rest of the season. That's my big takeaway after 2 of them.
I think I even tweeted that right after it was done, that my biggest takeaway from this series so far, anyway, is that Maslany, Tatiana Maslany, who plays She-Hulk, she has incredibly good comedic delivery, and I would just want to see more of her in other things. And apparently she's amazing in Orphan Black, which I'm going to start because she's so good in this. Definitely it's not a show that's like leaving a huge impact on me or something where I'm like, damn, I can't wait for the next one. It's just like an enjoyable thing to watch, which is okay. Like there's space for that in Marvel. And I think that's almost where like Hawkeye kind of fell for me. Like Hawkeye, I was never going to be like a week to week, like you need to watch this right when it comes out, like stay up to 3 a.m. thing. But I always really like enjoyed and found entertainment from those episodes and a little bit of not like a ton of heart or whatever, but like a little bit of heart, ton of laughs. And I like that.
that is my big thing with this. And the more I've watched this show, the more I've realized it. We've talked about this, so it's not like a new revelation. But so long as they're going to keep releasing big Marvel movies that have importance, I'd rather the shows not need to all feel like that. And that was part of the problem, is they all, like you said last week, many of them have felt like longer, big, important movies cut up into a bunch of episodes, where this does feel like a week-to-week TV show that, yeah, they're introducing a big character for the future, but it feels like the stuff that we're learning is smaller and a nice complement to the grander universe. It's okay to have a couple of, like, a few of these can be big. Again, Loki had a massive reveal, like literally a movie level reveal at the end. It's the next Thanos. That's fine. Not everyone needs to do that, though, and I'm okay with this. This is fun. The little nuggets we get, there's some good Easter eggs. You got. First of all, you had them just blatantly reference the fact that Edward Norton played Bruce Banner. I love that. He's like, yeah, I look different, literally. I thought that was great. There's a little Wolverine reference. There's a reference to Eternals. There's like little things in there. It's nice. Story is, I think it's funny. Like I like the development of the character. Again, if this is what they want to do the rest of the way, that's great. Here's the problem. I don't think it's going to be that way. That's my one note. I don't think it's going to be like this. I think Secret Invasion, I think Ironheart, I think all of those shows are going to go back to what the other ones felt like. Like, I think this is just because this is pitched as like this lawyer, funny, like sitcom type show. It worked that way, but I think the other ones down the road are just going to go back to what we're saying we don't like about this, which is kind of a bummer. But that's based on nothing more than just my guess. Chris, what do you think?
I'm with you. My feelings are basically the same as they were after the first episode. It's completely inoffensive.
Cheers.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
I think that was your end. I think.
No. Did my Gmail just play a fucking song? Okay, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Wait, no, sorry. I just realized that was me. I was trying to listen on the side to this new Hillary Clinton talk show commercial. I don't know if you saw this, where she gets to interview Amy Schumer and a couple other women across the world, which I can't wait to watch.
That's that shit we need.
Yeah. It's completely inoffensive, the show. But as I brought up last week, I'm just kind of at a point where I'm just not connecting with it the way that I did with some old MCU stuff. But it's not. It's there. It's which I kind of feel like I felt that way about a lot of these Disney Plus shows, is that they just kind of exist.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie,
it's fine. I mean, it's just so fine. I'll be honest, if it wasn't for us talking about it on the show, I probably would just wait till it was all out and watch it all at once. No. I do think the smartest thing they did, this episode was really short. I think a lot of this stuff could stand to be this short.
Yeah.
Because it helped with the pacing. It cut out a lot of stuff that I just wouldn't care about otherwise. I still I'm not really connecting with the humor. I agree with Kinjek, though. She's got good delivery. I wish the writing was a little stronger on it. I feel like they're so close to nailing the fourth wall because she's good at delivering it. Like the one with the Edward Norton delivery, that was perfect. It was a good line, and she delivered it perfectly. But a lot of the humor just hasn't worked.
Did I say? Go ahead. Keep going. Good.
Yeah, and Tim Roth rolled right back into the role. I do feel like it's kind of random. They kind of goofed him up a little bit again, like just made him goofy, like what Chris was talking about. It almost gave me who was the villain from Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3? Trevor.
It was Guy Pearce.
Oh,
okay.
That they brought back in Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
it's kind of the vibes I got. Where he's like just doing haikus in his.
Remember, he was a big goof in Iron Man 3, and that's why everyone fucking hated him to begin with.
Yeah.
I hate that fucking movie so much. I hate Iron Man 3.
Dude, and it's a $1.5 billion grossing movie. It's one of the highest grossing MCU movies ever made.
That's one of my MCU. It's not even a hot take because they're both not very good, but I think Iron Man 2 is better than Iron Man 3. I don't understand.
I do too.
That's not the common opinion, though. That's not
the Monaco fight is awesome.
Yeah.
Where he's slicing up the car. That's sweet.
Fucking Sam Rockwell's in it. So like, I mean, like, characterization.
Elon Musk
Justin Hammer was great.
Elon Musk is in it for a hot second.
Yeah.
That's right.
Justin Hammer is the reason I'm excited for Armor Wars with
he rocks.
Don Cheadle, because they say he may come back. I would hope that's the case because it makes sense to bring him back. That character is one of those MCU characters. Like, I really just wish that we have not been absent without him for this many, because he was fucking his dance on stage at the Stark Industries convention. It's so fucking funny.
Real quick, I have a She-Hulk theory, and it could look ridiculous, but the consistent breaking of the fourth wall to me means they may end up linking this or finding some thinly veiled post-credit way of introducing Deadpool.
I can see it.
Yeah. I don't think that's that crazy at all. They would be, as so far, the only two characters that do that.
Yeah.
He would have to be in New York, which would be, I guess, you'd have to get him to New York, right?
Yeah. But I could totally see him playing into that. Like, I just woke up in a different universe and found myself in a dumpster and, in Queens or some shit. Like, I don't know. I think they could make that work.
They reference a mutant. It sounds like they're referencing Wolverine a little bit in a very tiny Easter egg. Yeah. Whether that's that or not, I don't know. I don't think they introduced Wolverine in the show. But no. Deadpool, Daredevil, it's with Daredevil being introduced very soon. I could see it.
Did you see who else is going to make a cameo, or not a cameo, but she's going to play a character?
Megan Thee Stallion, yeah.
Yeah, she should have been She-Hulk, honestly. She's built like She-Hulk.
Oh, she also is going to be in that Hillary Clinton series. So Hillary and Chelsea Clinton will be interviewing Megan Thee Stallion, which I'm sure will be amazing.
Yes, that's what everyone's looking for. Moving on from the two reviews, let's talk about some trailers, clips. Big one from last week.
Megan, I also have hot sauce in my bag. I just can't wait. I can't wait to watch it.
Don't Worry, Darling is a mess. Not the movie, everything around it. The movie could be a mess as well.
Woof.
I think the movie's gonna be good, which is just funny at this point.
Yeah.
Don't Worry, Darling comes out in September. It's Olivia Wilde's next movie, starring Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Gemma Chan, Chris Pine, Nick Kroll, Timothy Simon. Just so many people in this movie.
Not Shia LaBeouf, though.
Not Shia LaBeouf.
Nope.
So there's drama around the movie. Shia LaBeouf asserted that he was not fired from the movie, but quit on his own. Then he released a video from 2020 that he received from Olivia Wilde, which he suggests that things could work out if Miss Flo could commit more, which Miss Flo is a reference to Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh not happy with Olivia Wilde in any way, shape, or form in the handling of the movie, handling of Shia LaBeouf, not doing press for the film after it premieres at the Venice Film Festival early September. There were rumors a few weeks ago that she wouldn't do press based around the Olivia Wilde-Harry Styles relationship, though nobody knew if that was the case or not. Then this video of Olivia Wilde leaked, and people are done with Olivia Wilde, it seems. So this is a movie where I just can't. Now I think the movie's going to be amazing, just solely based on the fact that people are going to have to like jump through hoops to like either say they like it or don't like it. It's just going to be. You can tell this is nowhere near from over being a mess. Like, it's only going to get messier. This movie, and then on top of it, they released a clip. And I will now play the clip of Harry Styles in the movie, which, again, all the trailers of the movie have been fantastic.
This one, though.
But this clip, like, it almost seems like they did it on purpose. Because I don't know in what world you'd ever want this clip to be shown anywhere. Let me pull it up. I will share my screen. We'll probably play it. We'll have to play it twice because it is quick, and you gotta analyze the accent here. All right, here is the clip of Harry Styles in the movie "Don't Worry, Darling."
Not everyone gets this opportunity, and if you keep talking like this, you're gonna put it all at risk. That's what you're worried about. Our life. It's our life together.
Chris had the most astute observation of this clip. If you want to say that, because it was amazing.
Wait, let me go one more time, just in case nobody heard the beginning, because the beginning may be the worst part. Okay, so what is that? Can we just look? So what is that act? That is
Cockney, like
like, it's closer to what he normally sounds like. Okay, and then there's this. That's just regular, like American English.
Yeah. There's like a dash of the accent in it. Like that's it. That's Australian.
And then he's like, and then I couldn't figure out if it's Australian or if he's in like a fucking Taylor Sheridan movie. Like I don't like it's like Western. It's like a Western cowboy Australian accent.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the rest of it.
He like swapped into Australian.
And then he's just back to just his regular. Crazy. How did that get released? That's insane.
Such a weird clip to release too.
It's like specifically highlighting a bad part of the movie, like a bad.
I get part. Releasing a clip with him because he is such a massive draw for this movie.
Yeah,
but that's yikes. Chris, what was recite your observation?
Well, I was very proud of this because I very rarely nail an internet meme. But the first thing I thought of was there's this outtake from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Dennis Reynolds just walks in and goes, "Oi, Charlie, this game has gone on long enough." And so I just posted that. And then you thankfully reposted it on the LCB account. I have a theory about this because I've watched this clip about 1 million times. My theory is that he committed to doing an American accent, like hard. And this happens sometimes with actors. Like if you've ever gone back and watched Dustin Hoffman's like Oscar acceptance speech for Rain Man, he still sounds like Charlie Babbitt. It's weird. Mm-hmm. My guess is he committed for months to do an American accent. And then the second he arrived on set, Olivia Wilde was like, no, that shit's awful, dude. But he couldn't shake it. So it seems like he's going back and forth, attempting to go back and forth between American and British or fucking half Australian, whatever he's trying to do. I would also want to point out that the person who gets, doesn't catch any flack for this, I don't think Florence Pugh's American accent sounds very good either. The older
better than his, but relatively is the only way it works. Yeah.
Yeah. The older I've gotten with that stuff is like, I'm tired of generic American accents. Like, guys, like the prime example, Marvel does this all the time, where it's like they may be from a general vicinity somewhere within the country, like Martin Freeman in Black Panther, where he's just like he's from somewhere USA. And I love Cumberbatch, but Doctor Strange's accent is like that too, where I have no idea which part of the country you're actually from. We don't actually all sound the same. But no, it's a weird clip. As far as the movie, it's a weird thing, Jeff, because I'm with you. I think it will probably be good. I also think it is the single most pretentious up its own ass, like assembly of people that have ever been a part of a movie. Like I want it to be good, but there is a small part of me that's like, dude, if this fails, they're never going to hear the end of it. Cause it just seems like the amount of ridiculous drama and like the video message, like that Olivia Wilde sent to Shia LaBeouf. Like, I don't know, man. It just, I like these people. I like them like as performers. But there's something about this that is coming across as like just remarkably pretentious.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's gonna be a big sink or swim for Olivia Wilde because if the movie rocks, like no one in Hollywood's gonna give a shit. Like it's gonna be like, we're still gonna hire you. But like if it stinks and she's also being like a huge dick, like people are not gonna be on her team. With Styles, I feel like it might be a biological thing because you know how like British people can't sing without sounding American. It's God's curse upon them. Like they need to just sound American whenever they sing. Harry Styles is very much included in that. And maybe when they raise their voices, they sound American too. I don't know. There's a biological issue with their voice box. I want to see if I can play that Charlie Kelly clip.
I can find it if you want.
I go.
Oh, you got okay, perfect.
Done? What? Yes! And D, we're gonna have to do all the Charlie work in the bar from here till, I don't know, how's eternity sound? Stalls, true or lie? This game has gone on long enough. Shit. Are you doing it?
It's just so damn funny. It does sound just like Harry Styles sounds in that. Stop, Charlie.
Florence Pugh, my wife.
My wife.
I do think it's going to be good. That's like kind of the funny thing.
We haven't even talked about this, but it's a Warner Brothers movie too.
Right. That's the thing. It's like of all companies that have to deal with this right now, like the fact that it is Warner is kind of like poetic justice. It's kind of hilarious.
So funny.
Maybe that's why they gave her so much creative freedom, because it's like she's not Ezra Miller. we can deal with this.
True. Yeah. The leash they gave Ezra Miller, it's like they kind of
wasn't a leash. It was just like he was a free roaming dog just biting people's asses.
Yes. Fucking crazy. First full trailer for Weird Al Yankovic, the movie starring Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al. Also stars Evan Rachel Wood, Rainn Wilson. Evan Rachel Wood plays Madonna. Hits the Roku channel on November 4th, which is just funny to say. I don't know. It's like it's like I just teed it up like I knew like Harry Potter is in a new movie, and it's like it's on the Roku channel. I don't know what this is.
That was my big thing going into it too, where I was like, I have no clue what type of movie this is going to be.
I'm still not sure it's real.
Yeah, it seems like fucking fake. It's so weird.
It's like Dewey Cox, but based on a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's like Weird Al. Like I'm pretty sure he's very heavily involved in the making of it.
Which would make sense. He's a man literally based in parody.
I don't think he drinks. I don't think he ever has been a drink. Like, so this is all just made up from him.
Oh, really?
It looks like semi-autobiographical. So it's going to be like bits and pieces are true, bits and pieces are fake.
I kind of love that. That's like, why don't I make myself date Madonna and have a drug and alcohol problem?
Yeah. I don't know,
but there is a part there's a part of me that thinks that's kind of interesting because, well, I don't know if this is going to be good. In fact, I don't know why. For some reason, I think if I had to guess, I would say no. I don't know. But
I would say the good money is on it not being good.
Right. But I think conceptually, I like the idea, which is Weird Al is the greatest parody artist of all time, right? So if you're going to make a Weird Al movie, make one huge parody of rock picks. So like on the idea, I think is neat. I also think that's a really difficult thing to pull off, because watching the trailer, I'm such an idiot. Watching the trailer, I was like, did Weird Al really date Madonna?
Yeah. You're not an idiot, because I had to look things up too. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Right. I think what it is I think there is the fact that Madonna did come to his house being like, are you going to parody one of my songs? And then now they're turning it into like, they had like this long-term affair. So I think I would almost call it high concept parody. And if they pull it off, I think really good, but I don't know. And I also, is that Daniel Radcliffe singing as Weird Al?
No, that was just him. That had to be just him. No way Daniel Radcliffe.
That ruins it for me. Like what's the Mr. Robot won a Oscar for lip singing. Like I don't know. That's kind of lame to me, but
it would be kind of funny if like I don't want to say it ruins it for me, but I actually would almost prefer if like Daniel Radcliffe did like an awful singing voice as Weird Al, just to layer the parody even more. Like I don't know, like why that would be just I don't know. This thing baffles me, but in like an intriguing way.
The only thing that's keeping me from thinking it's going to be like just fucking awesome is the fact that it's on the Roku channel.
Right.
Which I have no baseline for. I think the only show I know that exists on there is the reboot of Punk'd with Chance the Rapper. That's like my baseline for Roku channel content. I don't know. I think it looks awesome. Like I'm very excited for this. I think it looks incredible. It looks just like a good time.
It looks different, which is kind of interesting. Like I expected it to be a more in-line type of biography, but like, of course, it's Weird Al. Why would he do that, right? Like you would watch a documentary on Weird Al if you want that. But Weird Al is like one of the best, just parody and satirists and whatever you want to call it. Mostly parody, not satirist. But he's just so goddamn funny, and I think that he, in the movie medium, even if you look at like UHF, which is an awesome movie as well, like he's good at this shit. And I think if he was heavily involved in this movie, then it's going to be extremely funny, and I'm very pumped up for that.
Someone responded to us, and they made a really good point that it looks like a Lonely Island directed movie. Like that's really, it does look like that. I'm looking at the director now. He's actually directed some great stuff.
Yeah.
He was a director on Silicon Valley and on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
you're missing Human Giant, the GOAT short-lived sketch comedy show.
Human Giant. I love the Let's Go skit. Is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Andy Milonakis show too. Damn.
Anyway, we'll see. Whenever when it comes out, we will talk about it. First teaser for Sam Mendes' new movie, Empire of Light, the Oscar winner, Mr. 1917, Mr. Skyfall himself. Olivia Colman, Michael Ward, Toby Jones.
Yeah, you left him in third billing. He's the first billing guy, my friend. That's Toby Jones we're talking about.
And Colin Firth. Set in English, seaside town in the early 1980s. Empire of Light is that's not. It's just a synopsis. Sucking. That's the best. It's a romance develops in a beautiful old cinema in the south coast of England in the 1980s. The world's most obvious. This is going to get an Oscar nomination because it's a movie about movies.
Yep.
I mean, it's a teaser. It's very short, but it's Sam Mendes. It's the perfect example of like if you're someone who sees a lot of movies and you fall in love with a lot of like directors and what they do. You see something like this and you immediately go, okay, I'm looking forward to that. Like I think it's to be good. I hope it's great.
Deacon's on it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and Mendes back together. Yeah,
you can tell too. It has a look to it that is like stunning.
Yeah.
So Empire of Light from Sam Mendes. Not much more on that. Disney's Pinocchio full trailer. Tom Hanks in all his glory. This looks fucking horrible. Oh my God. This looks really bad. This comes out September 8th. This will be on Disney Plus. It's like Disney Plus Day. This is right around when they're going to have all the big announcements about Marvel and maybe some Star Wars stuff. Tom Hanks as Geppetto. Cynthia Erivo plays the fairy, the blue fairy as it's called, but it's not Tinkerbell, but whatever. Tinkerbell's in what's it called? That's the wrong movie anyway. The blue fairy, whatever. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket. That was the one that I completely forgot about. Got a good chuckle out of me there. Keegan-Michael Key's voicing a character in this as well. This is a great example of this. Them playing When You Wish Upon a Star in here is such like a cheap fucking move because if you like Disney stuff, great song. Like iconic song in Disney lore. Even if you don't love Disney, it's like one of those songs. It's like, it's an inspirational song. They really wrap this shit trailer up in When You Wish Upon a Star. And I was waiting for it because you're like, they're going to play it. They didn't play it in the teaser. And they play the song. And I'm like, you know what? If I close my eyes, maybe this is a good Pinocchio movie because I'm listening to this iconic Disney song. And then you just look at it and you're like, this is abysmal. Horrible.
Yeah. No good. I think we are done with the era of Tom Hanks attempting accents. I think we're moving on as a society where he no longer has to do them. Let him just be the regular guy. He doesn't need to do his terminal weird accent. He doesn't need to do any of these accents. He's good. Do Boston, sure. Don't do anything out of this country. You're no good at it, Hanks. I'm sorry to say. Great actor, multiple time Oscar winner, no good at it. Trailer looks fine. I'm not a Pinocchio guy, so like it's not.
Who is?
I have no idea. Like old Italian men, I guess, but it's not for me.
Imagine you meet someone.
Honestly,
Disney movie Pinocchio.
You just said who is a Pinocchio person, but apparently many people because this is another Pinocchio movie.
It's like the 15th Pinocchio movie in the last 3 years.
It makes no sense.
It
truly makes no sense because it's just not an interesting character.
No, not at all. It's creepy, if anything. Like that's weird.
I'm with you. I've always found Pinocchio to be creepy. And this, every week. It used to be like once a year, but now it's every week. I see a trailer for a movie that would have perfectly fit into the opening of Tropic Thunder, and like this was another one where it's like the CG is completely shoddy, and Robert Zemeckis is fucking just ginormous. Fucking Charlie Sheen and Scary Movie 4 sized boner for motion capture animation is just this 20-year obsession is ridiculous. Even though this might not be mocap, it might just be bad CG. You have one of the great actors ever doing another shitty accent. I don't see it. If it's good, it's good. Is this going straight to Disney Plus?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna be bad, dude.
It's gonna. Who's begging to see this movie about this old Italian pedophile in CG? Like it's weird. And no one wants it. Let's move on to society from Pinocchio. There's a lot of Disney properties like that where it's just like, or not even really. Not that Pinocchio is an original Disney property or anything, but like stuff that's associated with Disney. And I think we can move on from the wooden marionette puppet Pinocchio.
It's
I remember real quick, way back in the day, and by way back I mean like a decade ago. I remember I think Robert Downey Jr. was on Howard Stern talking about how much he wanted to make a Pinocchio movie, and he wanted to either play Geppetto or Jiminy Cricket. I couldn't remember. And it makes me laugh because I think that Doolittle was his audition for a Pinocchio movie. And that was such a disaster that it's like, no, man, you go hang out with Christopher Nolan. You'll be in Oppenheimer. It'll work out great.
I don't actively dislike I think Pinocchio is a good movie. Like the original animated one's fine. Disney's Pinocchio is a good, but this looks fucking abysmal. This looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a new, like the new rendition of When You Wish Upon a Star might be nice, but that's about it. New trailer for a new show coming out called Reboot, starring Keegan-Michael Key, Johnny Knoxville, Judy Greer, Rachel Bloom. It's a satirical series focused on Hollywood's love for revivals. It's going to be on Hulu September 20th. It's based on a fake network rebooting a fake old sitcom, which I actually really love that.
It's Hulu. It's not even fake net. It's it's supposed to be Hulu. Reboot.
Oh, it's them at Hulu? Did I see that and just not let that connect in the trailer?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Hulu. I kind of love that.
The last time we saw that was the fucking Space Jam movie, and they referenced Warner Brothers, and that was a disaster. I don't know if this will be funny, but I really want it to be. I really want this to be good. I like Johnny Knoxville, he plays like this actor who's like basically gotten arrested many times since the show came out. Keegan-Michael Key is like this method actor who's failed. Judy Greer is in it, and her character did like a weird sci-fi show after. I just really like the concept. I don't know if it'll be funny. I worry that it might be one of those awkwardly written shows where it tries to, we just talked about this recently with a bunch of stuff actually. Talk about bodies. I'm not okay. I hope the writing connects and doesn't sound too how do you do fellow kids? But I thought the trailer was funny. I hope this is good. I like the cast a lot.
Yeah, no, I normally wouldn't throw a series a trailer for some random streaming series on the rundown. It's just not usually what we do. But this intrigued me so much. It's such a perfect idea for where we're at in terms of movies and television. Making fun of reboots and remakes. This needed to happen, and hopefully it's good so people slow down on this shit. I really like Keegan-Michael Key. I've been waiting for him to get something really good. I liked him in Dolomite, but outside of that, he just hasn't been in much since Key and Peele. So I'm excited for that. And Judy Greer is just awesome. Shout out Arrested Development cast. Love her.
Guest on this show, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be better than The Bubble.
I did think about The Bubble very quickly when I saw this trailer. Not because I'm this is gonna be bad, but it just reminded me of The Bubble.
No, and they both have Keegan-Michael Key, so I mean it's easy to kind of go back to it. I hope it works. You guys know how I feel about meta humor. I think it's been beaten into the ground, but if it's well written, and I do Johnny Knoxville did make me laugh in the trailer, so hopefully it works.
Just don't 90s episode yourself, and everything will be good. That's the standard you need to hold yourself to.
90s episode was good.
Okay, one more trailer, and then we're going to do a rapid fire news on small stories. I would never normally show a trailer like this. We don't talk about political things here. One of being a big reason, part of the reason I started this podcast with Ken Jack is we hate our old jobs. Mm-hmm. Ken Jack was Barbara Corcoran's executive assistant.
Facts.
I worked in news, and I just politics broke me. The trailer for the Hunter Biden movie. Starring Gina Carano. Have you guys seen it? Who has seen it?
I saw a bit, 2 seconds on Twitter, and then I just had shitty connections. So I'll watch it later, and I forgot.
I will skip around it. I will say, always say, whether you're a Hillary fan and a staunch Pokemon go to the polls, or you're rocking a MAGA hat, if you worship politicians or anyone related, you have a sickness. It's a disease. And I don't want to speak to you. Anybody who worships anyone in politics, one way or the other, is my least favorite person.
Unless you worship Hunter Biden, who is objectively cool.
Here's the trailer.
Every story about him is amazing. It's like, yeah, fucking ripped off cocaine and sold $50 million worth of guns to the Ukraine. It's like, yeah, fucking, you're sick. This is a cool dude.
Oh, I won't lie. I did laugh at the video of him just weighing out crack.
Yeah, dude. Like, he fucking rocks. He's so cool.
It was pretty funny.
Here's the trailer. I had one main thought after it. There's like, we won't watch the whole 2 minutes and 30. If you want to share the trailer, I shared my screen.
All right, go ahead.
Here it is.
Is that supposed to be Joe?
Yeah. Damn, look at this guy. He's smoking weed. What a weirdo. Smoking weed, doing blow, fucking strippers, and painting and guns. He rocks. Like, they're just showing stuff that makes him cool.
It's the Wolf of Park Ave.
Give me the fourth wall. There, I think there's Gina Carano's in it.
Well, at the very beginning is the fourth wall. I think you passed it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what's about to happen again? Here it is.
Okay.
Why is Gina in this movie?
Because it's a very right-wing produced, and that's what she's about.
Yeah.
It's like it's made by like Breitbart or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this Ben Shapiro's company? Like,
I will look. I don't know for sure if it is. It would make sense.
Their title card is a straight ripoff of the Vice title card.
Okay, so that was my thought. This is a movie made by somebody who accidentally watched like The Big Short and Vice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is such a ripoff of Adam McKay. It's unbelievable.
Yep,
like
big time.
Okay, I don't want rip off's the wrong word. I obviously I don't like this, but I will be fair. Anything is an ode. You know, everything's an ode to something. Like I mean, I literally. We're all involved in a game show that I based off of not of like other things. Like let's not pretend that doesn't happen. Right. But it's so very clearly supposed to look like an Adam McKay movie. I could not believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just
very similar.
I could not believe. You're right. The title card, the fourth wall breaking, like the Hunter Biden character just screaming into the camera. It is. Could not believe it.
Do you think they reached out to Jeffrey Dean Morgan to play Hunter Biden?
He would have been a good one. Yeah, he's probably too old now, but he would have been a great one for that.
Yeah, like it's obvious with this. They're trying to make a movie. Like this is by like a right wing film company, I would guess. They're trying to make a movie.
It's by Breitbart. Yeah, that's
right. They're trying to make a movie that's like, look at what a piece of shit Hunter Biden is. But what if it ends up, and it's not going to be popular, but what if it ends up having like the reverse effect? Like Jordan Belfort is objectively a garbage human, and yet when Wolf of Wall Street came out, they were like, "Dude, that was fucking awesome!" Like
that's what I'm saying.
What if this thing ends up like having a reverse impact where the Bidens become like positively viewed in like modern society?
It would be a classic like political story. Like anything in politics, no matter who you are, so often, especially nowadays in internet culture, when you do one thing. A lot of times, the opposite effect is the thing that ends up happening.
Yeah,
right,
I'm sure
when it's political.
Yeah, I'm sure some like one of those like weepy lib type actors, like Mark Ruffalo or whatever, is going to try and make a response movie with like the Trump kids or some shit, and it's going to be awful. It's going to be god awful.
Just, I could. Somebody tweeted, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. And I watched it and I kind of scrubbed it. And when I saw the Hunter Biden character scream into the camera and then break the fourth wall, I was dying laughing. I was like, holy shit, they made an Adam McKay movie.
So they still, I've unsubscribed from these emails a million times. Like Breitbart and Daily Caller, like they'll send us emails with their trailers for their movies and stuff. They sent us one where it was these two girls they fight an army of school shooters or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yes, they sent it to all of our social media accounts too. DM'd us.
Yeah, like it was awful. The trailer, it was so bad. It's it was really they're tough. They're tough movies.
Oh my god,
we're gonna have to review that. Bring Large on.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll bring Jack Mack on for that one.
Everlywell, a sponsor of the podcast today. When you know more about your body, you can do much more. And Everlywell is a digital healthcare designed for you at a very affordable and transparent price. Over 30 at-home lab tests. We talked about the ones we've done. Thyroid stuff, very important to get the thyroid. You can fix so many problems in your life medically if you get a thyroid test and you get results that you weren't expecting, or maybe you were expecting. But you can do tests like that, men's health tests, thyroid tests, much more. We took those. Everlywell ships products straight to you with everything you need in one package. Also food allergy tests, which is very helpful. Take your at-home lab test, collect your sample, use the included prepaid shipping label to mail your test back to a certified lab, and then your physician-reviewed results get sent to your phone in just days. Or, I don't know, like an iPad or whatever you're fucking doing it on. And you can share the results with your primary care physician to help guide you to the next steps. Very simple. Over 1 million people have trusted Everlywell to support their health and wellness goals, and you should do it as well. Again, I'd suggest just take the good 3 off the top we took. The food allergy one, the men's health thyroid test. Everlywell is offering a special discount, 20% off an at-home lab test at Everlywell, everlywell.com/LCB. That's everlywell.com/LCB for 20% off your next at-home lab test, everlywell.com. All right, rapid fire. You don't have to spend a ton of time on a lot of these, more just kind of news tidbit stories. Actually, tidbit's probably the wrong word because some of them are like fairly large stories. WandaVision director Matt Shakman is in final talks to direct Marvel's Fantastic Four.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually prefer him over John Watts, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think WandaVision's issues. I am critical of WandaVision. I think a lot of us are about how it ended, but I do know it was the one thing that they always said was impacted the most by the pandemic.
They did a lot of cool stuff. I mean, say what you want about. They did stuff that no other Marvel property has even attempted to do.
Yeah,
directorial, like cinematography, like
it was really just like the last episode that kind of it got messy.
That first episode was, I know it's kind of, some people really didn't like it, but I loved it. Like,
I loved the first couple episodes of that show. I thought they were so inventive and fun, and like just different and fun. Yeah. That seemed to like it's going to be announced in the fall. There's rumors that Penn Badgley is meeting with Marvel or has met with Marvel playing Reed Richards. We'll see. It still seems like it's going to happen. At least get the director in the fall or in September at D23. Matt Reeves signed a first look deal with Warner Brothers, now working on the script for the Batman sequel.
Fuck
that's
yeah.
The first good thing to come out of Warner Brothers in a bit.
There's some interesting quotes in that announcement too. Kind of suggesting that he's got a lot of stuff he's working on. Not just the Batman and Arkham Asylum series.
I mean, so like the series, also what's the final verdict on the animated series? Because there was news that was not
the Caped Crusader thing that's been moved from HBO off of HBO Max.
Yeah, hopefully it gets chopped around and goes somewhere else. I honestly the Batman for me is what my number 3 best movie of the year behind Nope and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I've
liked it more every time I've watched it.
I'm more excited for the other non-Batman stuff from Matt Reeves, though. I think Matt Reeves is just such a good fucking director. I mean, I'm excited don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the Batman too, like 100%. But like, I love hearing that there's other things he's going to do with them. John Boyega shot down a question to return to Star Wars. He said, were you interested in going back or something? He said, I'm good. We almost interviewed him last week. I don't know if he's still on the docket. Timing wasn't working out. I would love to talk to John Boyega. He's a blast. King Kong Origin series in development from James Wan at Disney Plus. The series will return to Skull Island, explore the mythology and mystery of Kong's home. Totally separate from the MonsterVerse. Different King Kong.
Jeff, can you explain this? Like how the rights? Because
I actually don't know, but I would assume that King Kong is just public domain.
Yeah,
like Pinocchio.
That was my theory. Yeah,
it's so strange.
That one seems like that one seems like that one shouldn't be. But I don't know. James Wan, though, you attach James Wan to something. Is that what it is, Ken Jack?
It looks like it anyway. At least it's first Google search. Oh wait, no, it's not. But Universal doesn't exclusively control it. The original story of King Kong has been public.
Universal has arguably the worst rights in the world. I feel like they have the worst group of like rights to properties ever.
It's been. This is so fucking confusing. Apparently, they sued Nintendo because Donkey Kong was a ripoff of King Kong.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Speaking of Universal, there's rumors that the World War Hulk stuff's going to happen now after She-Hulk, because now Hulk is in space. Spoiler alert! But Universal owns the solo rights still to a Hulk movie, so it's like a whole thing. Warner Brothers delayed Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2 to March and December 2023, respectively. It was reports that Warner Brothers only has enough money on hand to market 2 films for wide release for the remainder of the year. And you know one of them is Black Adam. So
can't wait.
They said the director for Shazam 2 like refuted that and said that, oh no, we can't come out the same weekend as Avatar 2 because we want the IMAX screens. But do we really need IMAX screens for Shazam 2? Is that a worry?
I do believe that, though. But no, I don't think we do. But I do believe that. Because Avatar 2 is going to body everyone out of IMAX. That is for sure. Like Disney Bob Chapek will show up to theaters and bully people if there's like non-Avatar 2 IMAX screenings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sick of Black Adam 2. I can't even like think straight.
Black Adam 2. We're just on
Black Adam. Black Adam.
As well.
I am. Chris may not. I don't even. Chris is going to see the movie. Chris may boycott the movie. I think he's so sick of the fucking Rock.
Black Adam 2. Two Black.
Okay, I got to speak on that. I went back and watched last week's podcast. I was way, 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 way angrier than I like The Rock. I don't know why I went off there. I'm just. It's not.
Why you apologize on that one?
Well, no, it's not The Rock. It's just like, it's this guy. It's just the impression that like he's Kevin Feige now. Like that the artistic integrity of Black Adam. That's what's annoying to me. So like, I hope the movie's good because I like him as a personality. I think since I've worked on this show and Ken Jack's like insistence, backed up by a lot of facts, that the guy is just a giant liar is just unique to me. So. I
parodied one of his famous lie posts this weekend. I went golfing and I took a parody picture of off one of the Rock's posts where I claimed that I drove a ball like 550 yards. And I was like, yeah, I just drove 550 yards thanks to these clubs from my good friend Jordan Spieth. I also crushed 2 balls when I stepped on a rake. Just kidding. Excited to go tape ballers.
It's like those one of his or what his social media person.
No, that's definitely him. That was definitely him. It was too cheesy to not be him.
It's like those North Korean World Cup posts from 2010 when they were like claiming that North Korea won like 17-0 over Brazil. Like you just keep saying, yeah, I stepped on 2 golf balls. I had a 550-foot drive. Yeah, it's all right, sure.
Mm-hmm. You said that about him being Kevin Feige. DC is apparently in talks, or so they've said, with Dan Lin to be their Kevin Feige. But like, it does, like, it's the way The Rock talks. It sounds like he's quietly holding WB hostage to like be the Kevin Feige. The way he's speaking, he's speaking on behalf of them about future plans. It's very odd.
He has so much control over his movies now. Like that's the thing is that you don't. It is odd, yeah. But
Jeffrey Dean Morgan joined the casts of season 4 of The Boys.
Rocks, love that.
Love that supernatural reunion.
Yeah, although I guess Soldier Boy won't be in this season if he's all frozen or whatnot.
Bring in Jared Padalecki. Come on.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
For Dean Morgan. Joe Pesci back out of semi-retirement and will star in the Pete Davidson series, Bupkis. It's a Curb-style comedy series around Pete Davidson's life.
Wonder why that's the one. It's like no movies forever, does The Irishman. That makes sense, right? But like, why this? I'm curious to find out.
Yeah, it doesn't. I couldn't explain it. Irishman made like I said the most sense ever. This one, I don't know.
Yeah, you know what's annoying to me is actors retiring, but they never stay retired except for Sean Connery.
Okay, I guess that works too. No, because he did like a weird like video game animated movie. No,
the Irish one.
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman
was another one. Yeah,
but you're right. Like, that's it.
I find that notion to be bizarre because like when you're an athlete, you reach a point where of physical exhaustion where you can no longer do that sport. Like acting is something you can jump back into anytime. Like the amount of actors, like Alec Baldwin's retired like 3 times. Daniel Day-Lewis is retired 7 times. Like I think it's a weird thing to put your foot down and be like, I'm officially done. There's always projects you can come back to. I feel like now this is a bit bizarre, but it's also cool. Like, I mean, is anyone ever going to turn down seeing Pesci in anything? Like, sick. Yeah.
Such a weird pairing.
Yeah.
It's a weird what? Oh,
such a weird pairing. I don't know.
I don't know. He's Pete Davidson's hot right now. I don't know. He's Pesci's seeing the ball right now. He's like, I got to be in it. And then Curb Your Enthusiasm renewed for season 12, which good, I think. I mean, I don't think the last season was as good as anything near from the beginning of that series. If you've watched Curb and you haven't done a Curb rewatch in a while, I would suggest rewatching it. It's one of the more it's almost mind-blowing when you rewatch the beginning of that show and you're like a fan and you realize how many of your favorite jokes were all in the same episodes. Like that show, when it hummed in the first couple seasons, and it's always been pretty good. It is so fucking funny. It's unreal. Yep. That's it for news. A lot of news today. 2 interviews today. Flula Borg, one of our wildest interviews.
Very good one. Very funny.
I felt like I needed to be like on something for that. His energy was fucking insane.
Through the roof.
Fun interview. So first up, here's our interview with Flula Borg.
All right, we are joined now by Flula Borg. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. Talk about Luck, the movie, out now on Apple TV Plus. We just talked with one of your cast members about this movie, John Ratzenberger, the legendary John Ratzenberger, the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. I'm inhaling protein bars.
What was the flavor? What was the flavor?
Bad.
Peanut. That has to be peanut.
Peanut butter, chocolate chip, and cookie dough.
Mm-hmm. Oh my, that's a lot of stuff.
Every protein bar loves combining those things. I don't know why. It's always peanut butter and something, usually chocolate.
Undefeated. An undefeated combination. The Cagney and Lacey of protein bars.
I love that.
Our old office, they used to put out those Quest bars. And my friend Ken Jack over here, he put down like how many, like 3 a day,
I
maybe?
put down like 2 a day and just have to shit in my pants within the hour. It was horrible.
I was deep in the Quest bar game as well. I would go boxes. After 4, it's like Red Bulls. There is a limit. You need to stay under the quota. I don't know what it is, but there is one.
For sure. It's when you need to go to the bathroom and you can't come out for 30 minutes at a time because the fiber really hits you.
Man, yes. Colon blow. Yes.
Yes. Oh, what a reference. Luck. I'll remind people, for those who don't know, it's on Apple TV Plus. The story of Sam Greenfield, the unluckiest person in the world, suddenly finding herself in the never-before-seen land of luck. She must unite with magical creatures there to turn her luck around. You play a unicorn hand. Did you get to choose being a unicorn? Was that your choice, or was there a casting call for a unicorn?
Oh, this is like that Dumbledore hat scenario. They just pull out the name and then you're Slytherin or Blingo Blang or the Boston Celtics, whatever. And I will tell you, even if I just could have grabbed whatever, I would have been a unicorn. I am very excited to have one horn. I'm very excited. This man is wearing jumpsuits, jogging pants, a giant mustache. Count me in.
You got to step into a world that's crafted by the brains behind some of the best Pixar movies ever made. Does that give you a little more pep in the step, or is like Pixar a big thing in Germany?
Well, I mean, I have too many peps in my steps. I need a pep reduction surgery immediately. So nothing can increase these peps. But yes, of course, Pixar, huge fan of Skydance. I mean, hello, Top Gun Maverick. Stop the press. Yeah. This is basically the Top Gun Maverick of animated features. Let's be honest.
That was the tagline, actually. Before Top Gun even came out, that was the tagline. They banked on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's how they did it. And Top Gun is like the luck of action films. So.
Exactly. Everyone's been making that comparison lately.
Would you if they would have said, "Hey, you can be in Top Gun, but you got to do the full flight training," would you have done it? Would you have gone for it?
Oh, listen, as we've just discussed, I have 20,000 peps in my step. Yes. Count me in. I would have vomited all over those windows. I can handle all the G and all the hustlers. Count me in.
We'll just make sure you eat a lot of Quest bars beforehand. So it's a one-way exit only. Yeah. It won't go out the top.
One way. Oh, that's a one-way street. That's a One Direction boy band situation. Yeah,
exactly.
That was the press. Tom Cruise said on the press story, he's like, we had Flula Borg, but he ate so many protein bars pre-flight train. It just did not.
Did not work out.
Did not work. Character's name, Jeff, but he almost immediately rejects the name as soon as he's introduced as a Jeff. What the fuck? I'm a Jeff. What is wrong with Jeff?
Nothing is wrong with Jeff. But I can tell you, as a man whose name is Flula, I go reverse. When I try to order coffee at a Starbucks, nobody knows my name, so I say Steve. But in real life, my name is Flula. But look, my name is Heimdall in the movie. Heimdall sounds inappropriate at best. And this man cannot order anything at a Starbucks, so he goes with Jeff. So wonderful congratulations to you. You have a convenient and great name.
Should I try Flula at Starbucks and see you and just so I'm in your shoes?
Oh, I mean, prepare to have your drink either ruined or missing. But yes.
I like the concept that they just hear you say Flula. They're like, I'm not making that. We're just going to let this.
Next, go to coffee, bean, and tea leaf. Sorry.
Can I pull off Heimdall? I'm wearing a Dane Cook Superfinger shirt. I? Okay.
I don't know what that means. It looks like a body glove symbol, but I'm in. Okay.
The stand-up comedian Dane Cook back in the day, 18 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, probably even longer.
He said that it's not just the finger. You do two. I'm not flipping you off. I'm giving you the super finger. You do two fingers. That's the super finger.
Instead of flipping someone off.
Yeah. See.
Oh, and what does this mean? Like you really, really don't like someone, or they need to bend over and cough?
Yeah, one or the other. Yeah,
it's a double. It's like it really kills two birds with one stone. Yeah, it's a. Doctors everywhere pick it up. Yep.
So you were also in a made-for-television movie from Nickelodeon called Lucky in 2019. You think that's the only reason you got this job?
Listen, I tried to bury this so I could get both jobs. That's like I signed with Puma, and then all of a sudden Nike calls. I'm like, well, I am with Puma, but come on, I can wear two shoes at once.
We dug it up, and now everyone knows. And
we outed you.
Yeah, we outed you as a lucky guy.
That's fine. I'll take it. Next one is luck with umlauts on the U.
Yes,
I'll take it.
We asked John Ratzenberger this. He gave a wild answer. He said he's almost died 8 times before in his life, which does see. I mean,
that's a lot.
He's a veteran of the industry. I mean, he's been around for a while, but 8 is a lot. That seems like quite a bit. What is the unluckiest thing that's ever happened to you? Unluckiest thing in your life?
Oh, I cannot tell 0 things. Look, I'm here speaking with you wearing a weird shirt that looks like it's knitted but isn't. I successfully emptied my bowels 3 hours ago. I'll do it again in 2. I get to walk outside and the sun is not careening into the planet. Nothing. I'm fine. Everything's great. What are we talking about?
Flip side then, luckiest thing. One thing that you're like, all right, maybe that went my way. Yeah.
I mean, one time I slipped on a full court basketball court, and as I slipped, I kicked the ball and went into the sky, hit a man who looked like Jeff Hornacek in goggles in the face, and then went and swished through the hoop.
Holy shit! I didn't even. That is such a random human to be involved in that. Why was Hornacek there?
So wait, it wasn't Jeff Hornacek. It was someone who looked like him.
It was a German Jeff. It's like Hans Hornacek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Jeff Hornacek.
He was the next big thing. I remember hearing about him. Yes.
Oh man, up and coming next Jordan. Not Harold Miner. No.
Yeah.
No. Jeff Hornacek. That's right.
People might be thinking like Detlef Schrempf, Dirk. Like, no, Jeff Hornacek was the guy. Yeah.
Man, Jeff and Hans, baby. Oh yeah.
Reminder: Luck is out on Apple TV Plus right now. It's and we talked about Apple TV Plus programs all the time. They're great. Skydance off to a great start. You just mentioned Top Gun and all that. But we do want to talk to you about Suicide Squad because we talked to so many. We were lucky enough. I think we talked to like 3 or 4 people from Suicide Squad.
We talked to a bunch of people from the movie.
Yeah. I would love to know how far along in the process you knew that you were going to die, and if it's just fun or more fun to do a role like that where you get to deliver like a super concentrated comedic punch.
Well, I only know high concentrations of everything, as you can probably imagine. There's no solution to dilution, pollution, whatever that environmental phrase is. There's just high concentrations of Flula all the time. So it did not matter when I died. Also, I assume I will get cut out of every film I'm ever in. So then I just go all my balls to all the walls, and then we see what happens. And to answer your question, I had no clue if I would die or not. I did deny when things will happen usually. So like, I think I knew, but then I also just pretended like I wouldn't. So I hired a trainer to gain lots of booby muscles and anus muscles. Even though I know I'm wearing a uniform, no one will see these teats, but I did it anyways because this is what I do. I'm overboard, like that film with Patrick Swayze, Kurt Russell. One of those guys.
Kurt Russell. Yes. Yeah, I like that. You method acted. You must have been doing real javelin stuff too.
You can spin. You spun the thing. There's a couple of videos you spinning it around, and I mean, you got fucking talented with that thing.
I'm obsessed. Listen, if you make me, if you cast me as a librarian, I will get an information and library science degree. I will learn and memorize the entire Dewey Decimal System in reverse. I will do whatever it takes when it comes to the jobs.
Full method. I love that. Did you get to talk to Idris Elba at all about DJing? I feel like that's a good point of bonding for you guys.
Yeah, yes, very much. His song Boasty was the soundtrack of my life for approximately 182 days. I very much love his energy and dopeness. I could say I'm the German Idris Elba. That's a blatant lie, but I hope.
I love that. We're big fans of James Gunn, obviously Guardians of the Galaxy before Suicide Squad. What's something different that he does versus other directors you've worked with as far as like from a comedic sense?
I think, well, I mean, everyone I've worked with has been wonderful, of course. Blanket statement, don't cancel. But with James, what's really great is he lets you play. He lets you do the first thing you like. He's like, okay, let's do this. I wrote this. And now, oh, you want to try other shit? Let's go for it hardcore. And so he just let me off-road on my German ATV all over the place. We used none of this, to be clear, but it was very fun for both of us.
We got to see if that's in the deleted scenes later.
Did you take any like family members or close friends to a premiere for this and not tell them you were going to be? You actually had one of the less brutal deaths, I would say. There are a lot of brutal deaths around yours. Were people stunned? Were people concerned? What was the reaction from friends and family when they finally saw this movie?
Yeah, I mean, listen, all of my family is in Germany, so I didn't fly them over. And also, my death, I couldn't get totally mutilated because I have to deliver something important. True. To Harley Quinn. So if they just explode my brain, well, then I can't actually do this very important plot of the film. So that made me feel less bad to tell people, hey, I'm going to die. It's like, I'm going to die, maybe. Then 30 minutes later, I'm coming back, kind of. And at the end, a part of me is coming back, kind of. So, you know.
All came full circle.
You kind of were. Without your character, you could argue nothing happens. Nothing good happens in that movie for our characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
They were very unlucky.
Yes. But I will take it. Look, speaking of lucky, I mean, I'm in the Suicide Squad. How did this happen?
Mm-hmm. It was, well, actually, now we talked about method. I'm gonna test you on method acting here. A former the other Suicide Squad, the one with Jared Leto. If you said you would get a librarian's a
Dewey Decimal, you'd learn the Dewey Decimal System backwards to forwards. That was the quote. We'll put that on later.
Jared Leto one time ate ice cream and olive oil only for his diet for a role. Would you go that far?
Well, am I an ice cream and olive oil salesman?
He was doing it. He was doing it to play
Mark David Chapman, the guy who killed John Lennon. So he had to gain a bunch of weight, and he did that. He got gout. He lost the ability to walk for a while, and the movie kind of crashed and burned.
Would you go that far? Or are you going to stick to just the library? Is that the
This sounds like a poor choice of calories. Is what I don't know this man, but that seems like a very not way to gain some power. I can think of very nice ways. How about brisket quesadillas all day long?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
That's the thing. I understand. Like, if you want to be a librarian, you got to do the librarian stuff. If you want to lose weight, there's probably few things you can do to do it quickly. But gaining weight seems easy
and fun.
Yes. Very enjoyable.
Yes. Olive oil and ice. No, that's a better solution here. And I have it. Brisket quesadillas.
Brisket quesadillas. Gotta tell that to the Hollywood guys, the nutritionists.
I don't know how much you can say about this. I know there's cast out there. There's, I think, a synopsis, a little bit, some production notes, but there's a Pitch Perfect series in the work. And I believe it's set in Germany, right?
Yes. I also don't know what I can tell you, but all of these things you said are true. And it takes place in Berlin. I think I can say this. And my character, if you know the Pitch Perfect franchise, I'm playing the same man from those films. So it's very fun. It's what else can I say?
Adam Devine back, right? In the main role,
okay,
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Adam Devine back. So we can say this. Sarah Hyland from Modern Family and other things. Jamila Jamil from all kinds of things. Newcomer and wonderful person Lira Abova is also there. Very fun group. And very exciting. We are all very pumped about this. And also, look, I got to go home, hang out in Germany for months, and just eat all of the foods. And no, not olive oil and what was it? Snakes?
Olive oil and ice cream. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't eat this. I had German foods.
How often do you get to go back to Germany for projects?
Not very often. So, I am in Germany. I'm wonderfully anonymous in Germany. I can walk around with my pants down and I'm wearing a brassiere and nobody cares. But so I don't work there. I work here. So it's wonderful to go back. And I want 82 seasons of this show just so I can go back into my hundreds.
Mm-hmm. That does have to be like a fun thing to have fun, like a little reprieve, especially when you're like stuck filming in Atlanta or Bulgaria or Toronto or the other tax havens.
Yeah, the tax. Yes, those are enjoyable places too. But for me, I was obviously very biased. Count me into anything that shoots in Germany. Put me in John Wick 6 in Dresden. Count me in.
Mm-hmm. That would be a brutal death. You could get some redemption if you want a brutal death. I think John Wick could probably brutally. I mean, he killed somebody with us. Speaking of library, he killed somebody with a book.
He did kill someone. He killed Boban Marjanovic. Yeah,
the NBA player. Yeah,
killed Boban. Listen, if he can kill a 7'3" NBA journeyman, I think he can kill me pretty easily.
Yeah. All right. Wait. We'll ask you on the spot right now. You're in the next John Wick. John Wick kills you. What is the creative way you want to go? It's got to be like a book or something. It's got to be something very off the beaten path.
Someone, while I'm not paying attention and eating muesli, implants a tiny bomb in my head that's activated by a specific haiku. John Wick walks up behind me and reads the haiku very slowly and quietly. And then on the last word, which is, metamorphosis, my head explodes.
No, that's great.
That sounds like you have actually pitched to a studio already.
You've planned this out before. You've spoken to Keanu on this.
Yes.
Oh, we got to talk. We got to talk a little bit of YouTube. Obviously, you are, an OG YouTuber. How crazy is it for you? How much? We just went from like a haiku that explodes your head to like a very serious question. How crazy it is for you to like look at the success path for YouTubers nowadays compared to 15 years ago, or like does it make you almost proud too? It's like you were so early on in that process. Not that I'm saying it's super easy now. I'm not saying that, but it's very different compared to when you first got on there, right?
Well, I was using YouTube as a like sprinkling of crumbs to, hey, I am a man who exists. Put me in films and television. And now YouTube is a career where one man just eats military meals ready to eat. And he has 3 million subscribers. And another man just says, hey, look at my armpits. And that's 8 million subscribers. Like, it's a new, very strange world that I don't understand. YouTube is foreign to me. I stopped active like 7-8 years ago, and it's now reimagined itself like 12 times. I don't even know what it is anymore. I'm just happy I got to do what I'm doing now.
That's weird too, because like when you think about it that way, like all the YouTubers when you had started, they're all them like their entire path was like, I want to use this to get into Hollywood, and now YouTubers like, fuck Hollywood, I'm just going to keep YouTubing because I'm making millions.
Yes. Oh yes. I mean, Mr. Beast. I mean, all of these people, PewDiePie, all of these guys. I'm not wired for this. It's a new generation, So for me, I want to do films and television, and I can upload very dumb things on occasion because it's fun. But my brain is not ready to understand these guys make $10 million a year. That is crazy, but true.
Mr. Beast gave away an island a week ago. Just gave away, like, had an island and then gave it to gave it to somebody. And that it is like, I mean, I remember YouTube when YouTube was like the native app on the iPhone, and you were lucky if you could make out what you were watching if you weren't on Wi-Fi on the computer. Like, I mean, I've been on YouTube. I know you have, like, since the early day. It's stunning. It's just absolutely crazy.
So it's crazy. I mean, my first video I can remember late Sunday. Do you guys remember this video? It's a sketch from Saturday Night Live.
Yes, Natalie Portman, right?
You can up. She did the sequel. The first one was
okay.
Lazy Sunday. I won't sing it. It's
Adam Sandler and Chris Parnell. Yeah,
that's correct. I was like, oh wow, this is possible. I can make dumb things like this, and so that was the beginning. And this is a joke now to think no one even knows what that is. This video, it's very confusing and wonderful how many times things have changed.
Yeah.
Was there, like, do you know? Can you, like, pinpoint a point too where it kind of even changed from, like, the Hollywood side? It's like, oh, YouTube, like, whatever, internet, social media, that's a fad, to like, oh, we take this seriously. Because, like, even like I remember when you were cast in Pitch Perfect 2, and that was like a pretty decently big deal. It's like, oh fuck, that's an internet person who is in a massive movie. Like, was that around the time when it sort of flipped?
Well, yes, I think there was this assumption. Oh wow, he will bring 8 million people with him to the movie theater because he has these videos that have 8 million views. All of this is not true, of course. And also, I was never in internet. I'm just a person that was trying to get cast in things, and no one is accepting headshots for an insane man. So I'm uploading videos. I'm like, I guess you could call me a YouTuber because I've uploaded a YouTube video. But look, if I stand inside of a cockpit, you can't call me a pilot. I don't know what I'm doing there.
It's fair.
So, I was never qualified to be a YouTuber. It's just people always said that because, and I will tell you, I know this, a video was shared around the office of Pitch Perfect, and they're like, oh, we should call in this idiot. Is he an idiot? Let's find out, And then they confirmed, yes, he's an idiot,
But then they said cast him anyway.
Exactly, yes, it's a win-win.
Well, why not?
And then they said in 10 years, there's going to be a streaming service, and we're going to put him in a show. That's exactly what they said.
That's what happened.
One more thing before we hit, we do like a lightning round at the end here, but one more thing I have to ask. We are, as a podcast,
Conan guys.
I specifically am a massive Conan O'Brien person. You've done endless things with Conan. I was not actually able to go see the second tour that he did. I saw the tour after he got kicked off of NBC. Can you align with us? You don't have to. Can you align with us? We are a very anti-Jay Leno, pro Conan O'Brien podcast.
I mean, I don't even know. Do I need to answer this question?
Okay. I just want to, for my friend who's not my friend Conan, I just want to make sure if you align with us, just know it's not just pro Conan. We're an anti-Jay Leno.
Anti-Jay Leno, yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah, is this a debate? That's, again,
no.
Do you choose between brisket quesadillas and olive oil and what is it?
Ice cream, yeah.
There it is. The Jay Leno, the olive oil and ice cream, and Conan is the brisket quesadilla. That's all. That is all I needed to hear.
Man, now all I can imagine is Jay Leno riding around in one of those old nasty cars, just eating olive oil and ice cream. That's the first thing I can come with.
I can tell you, I am sure he's a nice person, but I mean, don't ask me to choose. What are we doing?
You're aligned. You're the first person to align with us. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. So we have a 6-pack of questions here. So 6 rapid fire. You can give a rapid fire answer, or you can give us an expanded answer, whatever you want. First one, yes or no, the term German comedian, is it an oxymoron?
Well, yeah, it makes you a moron if you say it. It makes no sense. I am also not a comedian. I'm just a human man with a pulse, as we've all discovered, and I'm just happy not to be dead.
What's one role that you auditioned for that you really wish you got? Like every actor has that, but what's the one where you really wish you got it?
I auditioned for Reacher. I auditioned for the lead role of Reacher.
In like the Amazon series, like the Jack Reacher one, yeah?
Yes. I would have had, obviously I didn't get it. I had no shot, but man, holy smokes. Imagine the amount of quest balls I would have had to eat.
You would have been like It would have been a conveyor belt, like straight into your mouth.
Oh, exactly.
I Love Lucy, just fucking scooping them up, just endlessly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, next one. This is a personal one for me. Should the German football team be banned by FIFA for stealing Miroslav Klose and Lukas Podolski from my beloved Polish national team?
Oh, yes, probably. I mean, look, it's not fair that this happened. Those were two of our best players. I mean, we won. I mean, look, should they maybe? Oh, I don't know. I feel guilty. And we are with Germans. We feel guilty about everything. Yes.
Wait, what happened?
Should have been punished. What? Oh, nothing. What are you talking? No, nothing. No. Yeah.
Is there one running show, comedic or otherwise, that you would love to join right now?
That exists now?
Yes.
I can't think of those, but I'm currently watching Breaking Bad, and I would have very much wanted to be one of Jesse Pinkman's bros.
You instead of what was it? Badger? Badger, yeah. You'd be a good Badger.
I would have been, like one of Badger's buddies or something. I liked everyone, so no recasting, just an added additional cast member. Or a dead-eyed Jesse Plemons buddy.
Yes.
Like one of our friends.
Yes. Oh man, you would have been great as that.
That's a great pick.
What's a German food that you think more people should try?
I think Spätzle is wonderful. These are homemade noodles. They're very simple to make. Put some gravy on that. Oh, delicious. It's, I would say, undefeated. There are many, but Spätzle. Also vegetarian friendly.
Oh, interesting. All right, last one. You can only save one person. The rest of them are erased from history. Beethoven, Johannes Gutenberg, or Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki. What? What kind of question is this?
You're erasing Mozart and Gutenberg. The printing press is gone. Never exists.
Somebody would have figured out books, and somebody would have figured out
but nobody would have
the high point fade.
Yeah, the high point. Nobody would have done that.
No, listen, he's reshaped the entire game for us. There's no Carl Anthony Towns. There's no Kevin Durant. There's no Kristaps Unicorn Porzingis. None of this exists without Katie. There's no Chet Holmgren.
Of course, yes, Chet Holmgren. Yes. Would never be there.
No.
I love that.
He would not have been born. He would have been like 6'2".
He would, that's yes. We would never have a 7-footer ever again.
Genetically, it would have never worked out.
Last thing before we release you, tough question. 6 movies. We like to get 6 movies from people. 3 your favorite movies. So 3 favorites, 2 underrated movies, and then 1 guilty pleasure. So 3 favorites.
Okay. These switch. If you ask me in 3 minutes, I'll give you different answers. Just know that this is true.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Die Hard, Shawshank Redemption, and Godfather Part 1. These are very great ones. And then you said, what were the others?
2 underrated, so underappreciated movies.
Lola Rent, which is Run, Lola, Run. It's a German movie.
Great movie.
Very sassy. Also, underrated. I just watched, what's that one in the submarine with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington?
Hunt for the Red October. No, not Hunt for the Red October.
No, that's Sean Connery.
Red Hunt or something? Something Hunt?
Something.
Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide. Oh, what a fun film. I very much enjoyed this. And then the guilty pleasure. I mean, I'm going double down. Die Hard is my favorite. It's a guilty pleasure. It's my film I love the most. It's called Stirb langsam in German, which means die slowly.
Oh, that's one of our favorite things is looking at international titles of movies because they're like totally, they changed entirely.
Oh, they're so great. And Germany, so very quick. There's a French film called 3 Men and a Baby. It came out in Germany. We loved it. 3 years later, the Americans remade it. So the Germans are like, well, what do we name this? So they just named it Another 3 Men, Another Baby.
I actually like that. That's actually a brilliant way to go about it.
What's Pitch Perfect? Does Pitch Perfect have a different title? What's that in German?
Yeah. We straight. Now, Germans, we basically speak, many of us, fluent English. Right. So we just keep it. It's just Pitch Perfect.
Oh, you just keep it. That's
just keep it.
Join hands across the world. Pitch Perfect, but not Pitch Perfect right now. It's Luck out on Apple TV Plus. Fire up whatever service you watch at, whether it's the actual Apple TV device, your phone, the computer. You can watch it anywhere that has the Apple TV app and watch Luck. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just found a list of German titles for movies. By the way, Dodgeball was called Straighten the Balls. Animal House was called, I believe, A Horse Kicked Me. Die Hard, Die Slowly. You're talking about. Airplane was the unbelievable journey of a crazy plane. Why not just Airplane?
I'm looking that up as soon as we hang up.
That sounds like
this is wonderful.
The original Twilight is Twilight Bite Till Dawn. What the fuck does that even?
That airplane alternate title reminds me of fucking Birdman.
Yes,
the full Birdman title. That makes it sound airplane sound like a tragic dramedy.
John Tucker Must Die. Revenge is Sexy. That's a good one. I think that actually would have been a better title.
Yeah, I like that.
Let Germans do the titles. That's the point.
The Parent Trap. The Parent Trap was a twin rarely comes home. What the fuck does that mean? A twin rarely comes home?
That sounds like a wise words from like a deep philosophy. That's like Nietzsche.
Twins come home all the time. I would argue that's the one thing they always do.
Oh.
Yeah, that is so. I've seen the film. Danny DeVito and Arnold both showed up. Very confusing.
Thank you so much. Absolute blast. Absolute pleasure. Good luck with luck. Good luck. And then, of course, the Pitch Perfect thing as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And so great to speak with you guys. Speak to you soon. Go Dirk Nowitzki.
Go Dirk Nowitzki. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you to him. The commitment to Dirk Nowitzki was probably my favorite part of the entire interview.
Yeah.
Not even a question. Dirk is truly a hero. Garrett Dillahunt, another interview that we had. He has a new show, Amazon show, came out August 19th. Here's our interview with him.
All right, we are joined by Garrett Dillahunt. Thank you so much for taking the early time to come on here today.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. I'm shocked you guys wanted to talk to me.
we have a lot to
talk about too.
Can we even fit it in time? But let's start off with Sprung. August 19th, Amazon Freevee. Let's tell you, if you don't know what the series is about, after having been previously incarcerated, Jack moves in with his former cellmate, Rooster, and is determined to turn his life around just at the start of a global pandemic. COVID storyline, coronavirus storyline. We've seen some of these, but Sprung's a little different because Sprung, we've seen some of these. It's like, all right, the whole thing's in one apartment. The whole thing's in one house. They're trapped here. You guys kind of get out and about in this show a little bit, and there's some hijinks and a lot of comedy to it. Was it a little odd because of how recent COVID was doing a comedy about that? But it is nice from our end, like refreshing to see it in the kind of a more less cynical way, funnier way.
Yeah. I keep getting uncomfortable it being described as a show about COVID, because it's really just kind of the catalyst to get us out of the jail, and get us all together. And there's it certainly resurfaces during it. But I don't know about you, but I was tired of watching shows and stuff with people wearing masks and telling us, what we should be doing. And I don't know. I just kind of wanted something that made people laugh and we could laugh about the virus maybe for the first time. We did some crazy stuff in the beginning, we didn't know. No one knew what was right.
That's I think kind of well described by the one scene where you're trying to put the dollar into the vending machine in the first episode and you're like terrified to touch it because it might have COVID on it.
There was a take we did on that one where I ran backwards as if I didn't want trying to stay ahead of I didn't want to carry it even in front of me in case it blew back on me. And I kind of wish we used that secretly.
This series kind of reminds me almost of it's like Robin Hood, like a Robin Hood group set in the setting of the COVID universe, so to speak. Like even like stealing from like a toilet paper scalper in that first one, like a lot of stuff like that. Could you describe it as like the COVID Robin Hood, more or less?
Well, it certainly is for Jack. That's the way that he kind of, can justify doing these because he doesn't want to rob anybody. He just doesn't. He has to because they won't let him stay in the house otherwise, and so he decides, well, I'll only rob bad people. And then unbeknownst to the rest of my crew, once we're done, I'll go out and I'll do nice things for people to make me feel better. He's still robbing, but it was something I really liked about it. It was these heartwarming moments, at the end of every caper.
When you signed on to this last year, you said, you're excited. World needs a laugh. We're the laughs even on set, not just within the script, like even cathartic as well, just to do like a kind of refreshing, like funny project, especially like in this time.
Well, I don't know how long you guys have been working together, but it's been a while, isn't it, Barstool?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's been a while now. It's kind of the same with me and Greg. And the lockdown, you guys probably got to keep working, which was marvelous. It was hard on people, and we didn't, and I'd been doing some jobs and I wasn't really digging, and I just thought, man, I'm too old to not be having fun. If I'm not having fun, what's the point? So I thought about the last time I had fun, and it was with my old friend, Greg. So, we got together during the lockdown and just started talking about doing something and, what to do. And I didn't have an idea per se. I just had the kind of guy I wanted to be, and I said, I think people need a laugh. I really do. I do. And we're kind of comfortable with our role of just being jesters. We were not necessarily trying to make some larger point. We're just trying to remember things, and then we can make our own point about it. But I just really wanted to work with people I knew. And so, yeah, there was a lot of laughs. There was a lot of relief, to be together again with the old gang and trying to crack each other up on set every day. You guys do that all day, don't you?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to be able to do that. You mentioned Greg Garcia. This is your third project with him, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some
guest book, and then this. Yeah. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So is like that familiarity kind of help you get off to a hot start? Because like I'm sure when you're with a whole new group of people, it's a little bit different, but you get the vibes I'm assuming that he was trying to go for.
Yeah, there's a shorthand. I feel kind of like a weirdo. I'm sure everybody does, but it's really wonderful for me to not, to skip that uncomfy, bumpy moment in the beginning of a project, where you're trying to, okay, how do you work? This is how I work. You think I'm a weirdo? And, we just have the same sense of humor, and we get each other's jokes, and, we get ideas bounce off each other. It's just easy. And he's the kind of guy that, like all the department heads and all the, came with him as we shot this in Pittsburgh. But all the department heads that love working with him usually came with us to Pittsburgh to shoot this thing. It's just the kind of guy he is. People want to work for him again. After you work for him once, he just sets a good tone. Mm-hmm. So it was wonderful. And once we brought Martha in, it was just a relief. I felt like you can do anything with the right people. Yeah.
Have you ever had it like at the exact opposite? Not that we want to bring up any negative experiences, but like where you maybe you like try to vibe with someone, or someone tries to throw a joke at you on a set, and you're like, oh, I don't find that guy funny at all. I don't find that. You're like, we got to find a better comedic chemistry here.
It's the worst. I know I have, and I won't be specific, but yeah. It's awful. It's weird enough, our job. So, we're all adults. We're going to get together, put some makeup on, wear somebody else's clothes and hair, and then we're going to pretend together.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah.
And then when someone's like just trying too hard or just doesn't get on the train with you, it's very uncomfortable.
When it's kind of cool, I think, in this series when you guys get in the swing of things with actual crimes, and your character of Jack uses the advice he collected from other criminals. Like, do you think that's almost like that in prison, like a criminal think tank, where it's like they're kind of putting together their collective experience, or like because everyone there has failed at crime, so they know what not to do at the very least.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice prison experience Jack seems to have had in general. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not Oz,
Yes, that's for sure.
So, but I would imagine there's got to be, some kind of cross pollination. People just know. I think it's a great device. What we didn't think about was we're already shooting about 36 minutes as opposed to 22, and then we're going to add in split screen, which is kind of doubling the time. So we're shooting, 40 minutes worth of stuff in the same 5 days that we'd have always shot 22. So we kind of, shot ourselves in our own foot. But I just love how that works. We can just put so much more information on the screen at the same time for the viewer to watch.
It reminded me a lot of another show, that sequence anyway, that you were in Burn Notice, actually, because Burn Notice, they did that a lot, where it'd be like, this is why I'm doing this is why I'm doing that. And it reminded me of that a little bit in a great way. I love that show.
I forgot about that. Good memory.
Yeah, great show. Speaking of, I'd love to talk to you quickly about Deadwood. because Deadwood is one of my favorite HBO shows. You got to play two very different characters in back-to-back seasons. Why do you think specifically, and both of them are awesome, and I'm sure that's an actor's dream getting to do like those two totally separate types of dudes. But why do you think it was so easy for the audience to have that like suspension of disbelief, despite seeing you as these two totally different characters as like mainstay characters across two different seasons?
Well, it's funny because people are still just finding Deadwood sometimes, and I'll hear from them, sort of like, I don't get it. Are we supposed to not know that Garrett Dillahunt's playing two different parts? And at the time, it's not that I'm like some big shot or anything now, but no one knew who I was. It was so much. I didn't hear a peep. We were lucky that the first guy was so disfigured. I had this weird patchy beard. I can do this weird thing with my eyeball, and I was filthy in the teeth. And I remember I was working with Keith Carradine a lot as the first character, Jack McCall, and he's about the exact same height as I am, but I would kind of slouch around a bit because I wanted to be small and just, the guy's, he's like John Hinckley Jr. to John Lennon. And, he's just he wants to be him. He wants to be, and then the last day was, I think, the 6th episode in or so. This maybe the 7th of the first season, and it was my last day, and I was really sad about it because it was a great job. Deadwood was a fantastic job, and it really set the tone for a lot of our careers. That was what we wanted to recreate on every other set. But David then, and I said to David, I was like, so this is it, and I was so sad because look, this is the only job I've ever had where actors would just show up to set, even if they weren't working, just to watch. It was just that cool an atmosphere, that cool a vibe. And then he said, well, come here, I got an idea. And he wanted me to play George Hurst in the 2nd season. And so I spent a whole year, because you know how long it takes between seasons, so the rest of season 1 that I wasn't in, and the year after that, researching the guy, me and the hair and makeup dude on set, we're going to build this fake nose and maybe cut my hairline back because the guy's hair was kind of like that, and I was back east doing a play, I think, just, filling the time between the seasons. And David calls me and I pick up and he's like, hey, so listen, this guy, I think Hurst is going to be more of an off-screen presence in season 2, so it's not going to happen. And I was so disappointed, but trying to act cool, like I get great jobs all the time. When I'm 26 years old or something. And then he said, but there's this other guy. I think he's right in your wheelhouse. And I don't know why a sexual sadist was right in my wheelhouse in his mind, but it was a great character to play. That's for sure. I just talked for a really long time.
No, that's a fantastic story. Cause I mean, it really, where does that happen? Where has that happened? Where will that happen again? Especially nowadays. Cause you kind of alluded to it. You said like now people who are starting to watch Deadwood, like that blows their mind. And I don't think you could get away with that these days for anybody, because whether it's social media and breakdowns on YouTube, it's just, we dive almost too far into shows and stuff where it's the same person, 2 characters, never.
Mm-hmm. Right. Maybe so. I thought it was because no one knew me. They weren't looking to see, you see, I don't know, Keanu Reeves play 2 different people in the same show. You'd be like, that's Keanu. I know I got a poster of Keanu on the wall. I know what he looks like, but no one knew who I was. I don't know why David did it, but gave me a career. That's for sure. Nowadays there'd be an hour-long breakdown on YouTube about how both characters are connected, and there's a conspiracy fan theory. Right, and then it's the only question the creators of the show would get for an entire promo cycle. That's basically what would happen. It's almost as if we would be a part of the problem.
Yes, absolutely.
You've done a lot of TV for different networks and stuff. Obviously, this Deadwood was a premium cable type show. From our end, watching it, you can tell, and it's not to say that like regular cable with commercial shows aren't great, because there are plenty, but there's always something different when it is a show that kind of has the free range to be as long as it wants and say whatever it wants. Do you feel that? We love asking, do you feel that even on set, compared to other projects when it is this like free reign premium type thing?
Well, it was a unique experience, that's for sure. And it's unfair of us to compare it to other jobs or to try to make other jobs into that, because there's just no way they could. You know, the set's amazing. We shot at the Melody Ranch out in Newhall. I think Gene Autry owned it for many years. Tons of westerns have been shot there, but it's a wall encircled town, you know. And so you come around the corner out of your trailer in your period garb, and you walk down and you turn a corner, you're in a main street of, you know, late 1800s town, and the extras were like camping out, and they had whole stories for all every character they invented. They were so committed, you know. So much of the work was done for you. You were already in it. But then there was the time. I think we took 21 days to shoot an episode one time, just get it just right. You know, the writing's insanely good. You know, David would watch every rehearsal, and then he'd be like, yeah, Garrett, say this instead of that. If you're going to go over here, this is great. Say this instead, and kind of turn, you know, it was so collaborative and cyclical in the way it was shot that it was a dream. So yeah, to my inexperienced, you know, eyes, it was a dream. It was the way this was supposed to be.
You got to be part of another great Western, this time, though, a neo-Western in No Country for Old Men. It's my personal #1 movie ever made, by the way. Yeah, it's my favorite.
He's not just saying that.
Not just saying that. I have it empirically ranked on our website as the #1 movie of all time. When you signed on to that movie, was it like sort of a common knowledge thing? Like, hey, this is going to be an Oscar contending movie. Like, this is going to be like premium prestige. Like, people are going to be like really after this one.
You know, I never heard anyone say anything like that. And honestly, I'm trying to think. I've been in a few Oscar-winning, or at least nominated ones, and each of them, I don't think any of them thought it was going to go anywhere. They just wanted to make the movie. I feel like when people set out to win an award, it never really works. So you can kind of see that attempt. But those guys are so humble, and that book translates so well, I think, to film. In fact, you know, the Coen brothers are a big inspiration to Greg Garcia. Raising Arizona is his favorite movie of all time, and he's hidden a bunch of Easter eggs.
That makes sense. That's like very My Name is Earl precursor type of movie. Yeah. I can think of it. Yeah.
And he's always hiding. There's a lot of Easter eggs and references to the films in his shows. It's fun to try to spot them. But it is kind of amazing when you work with people. They're just on a whole nother level. You know, they're just down to earth, focused, everything's boarded out, and they bring it to life so well. You know, I love that movie. That was a great experience. I wanted to play Llewellyn, but I'll take Wendell.
Is there something different that they do that really makes them stick out? I mean, I'm sure it's tough to pinpoint one thing, but they're just two of those people. They're just fascinating. You're like, how does a brain work like that to produce the things that they do as often as they do? Is there any one thing that might stick out to you?
I don't know. I mean, I wish I knew them better. I'm realizing as we talk how many times I've said, like, I'm weird, I'm shy, I'm whatever. And I was about to say I'm kind of shy, and, you know, they're kind of shy, and I couldn't tell you who did what, at least on that movie. They were always both together. You know, they'd come up to me, they'd kind of, you know, kicking rocks and standing there like, well, that was pretty good. You want to go again? Yeah. Okay. Let's go again. You know, and it's, you know, I think they cast well. I think they plan well. And, you know, they have a strong enough framework in place that they allow their actors to kind of bounce around inside it. So there's a feeling of freedom we have, but they're still getting what they want. So I don't know if I could pinpoint it. I wish I could work with them again.
Would you have any interest in doing other neo-Westerns? Because I think that you would be a fantastic Taylor Sheridan character. If you would ever write something like a Hell or High Water, a Sicario, Wind River type movie, I feel like you'd be a great character in one of those.
Well, I love that dude. I got to say, I've actually sent him emails to like his fan email. Like, I don't know how to contact him. He's like, hey man, your writing takes my breath away. At the same time, I feel like I can take a deep breath when I watch it sometimes. You know, some of that writing on Yellowstone
Oh,
it's just fantastic. And yeah, his movies, and it's just such a cool story. His story, an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I'll write my own stuff. And now he's a conglomerate. You know what I mean? But I hope he watches your show, because I've been trying to get in his little world. I feel the same way, but I don't think he does. I think he's got different ideas about cowboys.
Who did we talk to John Bernthal about? Because John Bernthal and Sheridan have done like a ton of stuff together, and I think he said that Sheridan just like walks around sit on a horse, like I guess gallops around on horseback, and he's just like that dude. He just like immerses himself into the world, which I think is just
he's you see him on Yellowstone.
Yeah,
obviously he can really ride. He's super jacked. He's wearing T-shirts like your girlfriend's looking at me or whatever. I think he's a confident dude.
I wonder if like how if you apply for college, like if you don't have an SAT score, they're probably gonna be like, oh well, like you gotta. I wonder if you go in for one of his roles, if you don't have like skilled horseback rider on your resume, he just turns you away. He's like nah.
I mean, I could send him some footage,
Yeah, you got it. I feel like that's probably the biggest thing to have.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I think we both went up for the same role on Sons of Anarchy one time.
Yeah. That was the sheriff.
And he got it, And, I've never met him. I don't know him, but I'd like to. I'd like to work for him. I think he's onto something pretty special.
A recent movie of yours, very different directing, and I'd be curious to hear from your eyes and our brains. The Michael Bay Experience, probably polar opposite of Coen Brothers. Ambulance, wild movie, absolutely wild movie.
Yeah,
and I mean that in also a very like complimentary way too. Some great names there. I mean, what is the Michael Bay Experience has to be significantly different, I imagine,
than the Coen Brother Experience.
Yeah. Does he walk up to you and just kick a rock around, then kind of look at? Yeah, I feel it's probably a little different.
No, he doesn't, and he's got the whole movie in his head. I think often there's not even page numbers or scene numbers.
That's incredible.
He's just got the whole thing mapped out in his head. And he knows what he needs, and he could be screaming at you one moment, but then your best friends the next moment. It really doesn't mean it. It's I don't know, but we got on pretty well. I don't know if that says something about me, but I kind of like working that way too. And Deadwood prepared me for it in a lot of ways, because David would be writing pages on the day. We never had a table read past the first couple episodes. It wasn't finished. It's happening. The pages are literally hot in your hand. And I remember, like, even on that one, Michael Bay would be like, I don't like this monologue here. What else should we say? How about... And I'm sitting on the curb as we're setting up some massive shot with a lot of people and a giant explosion, and he's writing a new little monologue for me to say to them all. And I'm just like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen in a few minutes, and I don't know what I'm going to say. And
you probably can't screw it up, because you can't refire the explosion.
The pyrotechnics
few
crew
times, I assume,
would hate you.
Yeah. But it was a really cool feeling then when you do it, and you like, sometimes I kind of like working that way. There's a lot of creativity that can happen when you're like just flying by the seat of your pants, and I don't know. And he knows his way around the camera, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. We had 5 cameras, GoPros, drones flying. Like, it was just, he had so much coverage. It was amazing.
Last of the Reeves movies we want to talk about before we get into our little rapid fire questionnaire to end it here. You're a big Andrew Dominic guy too. Third movie, I believe you're going to be in of his coming up, Blonde. Is that right? Is that third?
Well, Jesse James was the main one that we became friends on. I think.
Killing Them Softly, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Killing Them Softly and Blonde are kind of the same for me. I am friends with him, and I was doing Looper in New Orleans the same time they were shooting Killing Them Softly, and they just were like, hey, we got this little thing we'd like you to do. Can you come up? Do you have a day off? Can you come do it? And I go do it, and then they cut it out. And the same thing kind of happens with Blonde. So yeah, we're friends, but I don't have a ton of insight to Blonde, because I'm a cameo in it basically, but I read with Anna on the screen tests and a lot of his other Marilyns over the years, because he's been looking for a long time for his Marilyn.
Yeah, is there anything that you can, like, I mean, I guess maybe it sounds like me, I haven't seen it or anything, but like, is there anything you can tell us to hype? I mean, it's getting a lot of buzz.
It's moved the needle for a while.
Great. I love Andrew's movies. I mean, particularly Jesse James. I think
it's
going to be great too. He's just a real artist, that guy. I've never met anyone. I mean, he could be directing all the time if he wanted to, but he just, he obsesses over projects and, trying to find the right one. And, it's kind of amazing that he operates that way. I'm a workaholic. I got to keep working. I worry about money. I'm like, I got to take this job. I got to do it. I got to do these 10 jobs. I'm the opposite. I should probably take a page out of his book and be a little more choosy sometimes. But that guy, I'm a real fan of his. I really am. I think
we were pretty surprised. I like that you just said that. We were talking about this when the trailer came out recently, and I mean, I don't know. I guess it's felt like it was more recent, but just seeing Killing Them Soft 10 years ago was his last feature. It's crazy.
It's
for
crazy.
Someone who, it's nuts.
Someone who's so good. I mean, I know I'm in the thing, and I'm a fan of those books too. I really like doing movie versions of books. I love Ron Hansen, who wrote the Jesse James novel. I think it's just so gorgeous. It's just so poetic, and there's so much going on, and visually it's just stunning. And Blonde, what he's done, he's recreated in such minute detail, the same shots, the same, but it's an NC-17, it's based on Joyce Carol Oates' book. It's not, it's an imagining of what her life must have been like. Yeah. And, so, I hope people give it a shot, because I think it's going to be kind of epic. I mean, there's a shot out through Marilyn's vagina. I mean, it's like,
that's as unique as it gets. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, okay, what we're going to do is
You can't wait for that. We have a series we like to do with actors. We call it the 6-pack. Just a 6-pack of questions for you. You can give us rapid fire answers, a little more expounded if you want. All up to you. The first question is it true that Joel Coen can tell you when you're going to die and that Ethan Coen can tell you how you're going to die?
I don't know. That sounds about right. I don't know those guys well enough to answer that one.
We've heard it from a few people, so I just wanted to double check. Which set that you worked on had the best craft services?
Ooh, Canada. Anything that shoots in Canada is pretty great crafty, I got to say. Fresh, a lot of fresh items. It's always kind of dewy. It's like they just hosed it off in the grocery store or something. It's beautiful.
Is being in a movie, next one is being in a movie based on a book club phenomenon. We're talking Where the Crawdads Sing. Is that daunting? I feel like people talk about being a superhero is daunting, but you can't let down one of Reese Witherspoon's picks from 20. I mean, it's a big task.
Yeah, I guess it is daunting, but I didn't have so much to do. So, you know what I mean? It was all right. I just had to be a mean dad.
What is a role that you auditioned for, really wanted, but didn't get? And every actor has obviously plenty of these stories, but what's the one role where you're like, damn, I really wish I got that?
Llewellyn Moss, No Country for Old Men.
Oh, that went to Brolin. Yeah. Wow.
I think it started with Heath Ledger got the offer. He said no, it was too soon after Brokeback. And then went to Joaquin Phoenix and then someone else. And then finally they settled on Josh, who I thought killed it. But between each one of those, I would come back in and audition again. It would just kind of because I think in the book he's described as, long and lean like a coyote. It's kind of. But I thought Josh killed it. I thought he seemed like a real worthy adversary for Sugar.
Yeah, Brolin is very compact though. That does kind of go against the description, but it worked. You recently tweeted about how Sonny Sixkiller has the greatest quarterback name of all time. I saw that.
I think so.
I wouldn't disagree with you. But
I'm a Husky, so
yeah, makes sense. So what movie character though do you think has the best athlete name? And we did a whole thing about this recently. I think my top pick was Snake Plissken. Snake Plissken as a quarterback would have been the coolest name of all time.
Well, now that's all I can think of.
Where's some of the other ones we had?
Bradley Cooper, and I think Jackson Maine sounds like a great Big 12 quarterbaak, like a guy who's going to
that's cool.
break records and then suck in the NFL.
What's the Psycho? Remember Christian Bale and American Psycho? What was
not Patrick Bateman. That's wrong. It is Patrick Bateman. Wait, is it? That's Jason Bateman. I was almost confusing him with.
It's Patrick Bateman, but I know you wanted to say Jason Bateman.
I was very close to saying Jason Bateman.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are good ones. I wouldn't have been able to come up with a good answer for that one.
I think I had Mad Max Ratajkowski or whatever, the dude from Mad Max as a linebacker from SMU. That would have been a great one.
That's great.
Last one. What is your guilty pleasure cheat meal?
Guilty pleasure cheat meal. Oh,
yeah.
I like a pizza. I'll get a large, thin crust, very well done, pepperoni, garlic, basil, and tomato.
So you get like a margarita pie combined with a pepperoni pie? I kind of like that.
I guess so, but it's and I'm in mushrooms.
And are you polishing the whole thing off?
I'll eat the entire thing.
Okay, good.
I'm full halfway through, but then I'll keep going. It's not right.
Yeah, is there any better pizza bite than the first bite after you've realized you're full, but you're still going to eat the rest of it?
Yeah.
I gotta eat it now.
Because then you're like, I'm not realistically gonna heat this up later. Yeah. I gotta eat this. Yeah.
Yeah. What am I gonna do? Cook it again?
Yeah.
Check out Sprung August 19th, Amazon Freebie. Thank you so much.
Man, you guys are the best. Thank you.
This was an absolute blast.
Hopefully helped wake you up this morning. Get nice. Get you ready for the day of like nonstop interview.
Hey, after staring at us for 30 minutes, your day can only get better. Trust me.
Yeah.
No, you guys are great. You're very handsome too.
Oh, thank you. That you just made our day too. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a good one. All right. Thanks to both. More coming up next week. I think we have Ernie Hudson and Anthony Michael Hall next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're interviewing Ernie Hudson a little ways after we're done doing this podcast. Review today, RRR. We're gonna. I know we keep saying we're talking about the Manti Te'o thing, but we'll do that next week solely because of the fact that there is actually nothing coming out next week. So we're gonna have to collect it. We're gonna have to collect You haven't watched it?
No, I lived it.
Fascinating. Actually, like very heartbreaking.
Yeah,
very very heartbreaking. It's like not tough to get through, but you're like, God damn. We'll talk about that next week we'll try to find some other like little things we can talk. Maybe Vengeance. That might be a good one for us to talk about. Because I know Vengeance, I think you can watch Vengeance on streaming. Have you guys seen I Love My Dad?
No, I didn't know what it was until I watched the Red Letter Media review for it. I'm sure they didn't plan this.
It might be a good pair with the Manti Te'o documentary.
You just took that from it. I was just about to be like, it's so bizarre that it dropped immediately either before the Manti Te'o documentary.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. All right.
Based on this true story too.
Yeah, it's based around his life, which is crazy. RRR. Indian movie. Tollywood, which not Bollywood. Tollywood different. It's in a different language in India, Telugu, which I was going to mention this earlier. Apparently, there either hasn't been or it hasn't. Typically, when India promotes or picks their one movie for the international movie at the Oscars, it's typically in Hindi, so it's a Bollywood movie typically. So that's why some people think this movie may not get the Oscar pick. But it's been such a phenomenon. It would be kind of crazy if it wasn't. India's had a massive year in cinema, just a huge year with some of their big movies of all time coming out this year. This is one of them. This is on Netflix, but it also made money in the U.S. It came out in theaters in the United States. Most of the people in this movie would be people who are Indian actors, but there is going to be one face I think many would recognize, Ray Stevenson. He is in the movie playing a pretty perfect role.
The Punisher.
Yeah, pretty perfect role in this movie. It's not a real story, fictitious story. I'm reading the synopsis now. Two legendary revolutionaries. One of the characters, Beam. I'm going to go by last names, the easiest way to possibly pronounce these so I don't mess up pronunciation. This is an LCD disaster, Ken Jack. This movie, trying to pronounce things. This one's like right up our alley of mispronouncing everything. But Beam, a tribal leader and an independence activist, Raju, and their journey away from home. Upon returning, they began fighting for their country's independence against British colonialists in the 1920s. 3-hour long movie, but could have been longer. This movie is fucking insane. It features everything that you could want in like multiple movies in one movie.
the fucking dance numbers. One of the dance numbers you may recognize went very viral, mostly for the dance, like the hook step dance they do in the video. Probably one of the best scenes in the movie. It's incredible. This movie is just like everything, at least for me, you want from a movie. Like, it just really is. Like, it is big, it's bold, it tells a great fucking story, and it doesn't lose any of the charm and like the emotion of the characters through how crazy and big the action sequences are. I think the one thing that people may say about it would probably be the look of the movie. Some of the CG is not the greatest in the world, but I don't really give a shit about that. And like, I don't care about that in this whatsoever. Like, it doesn't bother me. The action scenes, the way they're shot, are fucking incredible. There's so much slow motion, and I had no problem with any of it because it's all done really well. Like, the actions are all shot very wide, big scope. You can see everything. This movie is fucking unbelievable. I watched it like 3 times now. It's fucking amazing. Top 5 of the year for me. I cannot get enough of this movie. I fucking love this thing. 89 out of 100. I know, Kendrick, you're very close beyond that. You saw that long before I did. I love this shit. This is fucking, like, to call it a phenomenon is like perfect. It is fascinating in like the best way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when this movie dropped, I guess in India, like there's a decent amount of at least my followers that know that like I follow in a lot of Indian movies and everything like that. And they were all tweeting at me, DMing me constantly like, hey, go watch RRR, go watch it, It's amazing. It's amazing. And like I went, and I mentioned this earlier, I wanted to see it in a theater really badly because of just the action spectacle it was supposed to be. It's waited too long for it to be in Telugu, and it fed out of field theaters. But I watched it on Netflix on the biggest screen I could, which was just my TV in my living room. But man, it was so good. It's one of those things where you don't totally know what to expect going in, because it's not like there's trailers for this movie out everywhere. It's like you don't have any real preconceptions. So I watched it, and man, it's just so goddamn entertaining from top to bottom. Just beyond the action sequences, there's just like good drama, good laughs, great dancing, which is always present in Indian movies. And there's just so much to love about it. And I think the combination duo of the 2 main actors were phenomenal. I think a lot of the pacing of this movie I thought was excellent, because it is long. It is very long, but it has like 15 climaxes throughout the movie. Like it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Like there's like 15 moments that could be any other movie's climax, and it's just like another bump in the road for these guys. And I think that rocked. A lot of the bigger set pieces were really cool, like the fight on the bridge, the big fight in like the compound, the ones in like the woods. Like I thought they all looked great. Like in so many scenes in it were like, you might think in your brain like, oh, this is ridiculous or silly, but because it's the nature of the movie, you think it's awesome. Like the scene where Ray Stevenson grabs the gun in midair after the car crashes and shoots the dude's car. Like that shit would be ridiculous if it happened in like a fucking DC, whatever Marvel movie. But like it happens in this, and you're just like, hell yeah, that rocks. That's so cool. Like, and I think there's so much to love in this movie, and there's a little bit of everything, which makes it good for anyone. You know what I mean? Like it gives you the action. Like I said before, it has like 15 genres in this movie, so many exciting moments, and just it's a blast, man. I'd recommend it to basically anyone.
We'll talk about a couple of the different, because there's a bunch of like big chunk fight or action sequences or dance scenes. We can talk about it more in a second. Chris, I have no idea what you'll think of this movie. I couldn't even throw a dart on what I think you'd even think about this.
I was not aware that this was a cultural phenomenon. I hadn't heard of it until yesterday.
And it's done well here too.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Like define well, like top 5 at the box office.
So it's now actually, it just got bumped down. There's a newer movie in India which I need to find a way to watch it. This just got bumped down from second highest gross movie ever in India down to 3, but it's done well in theaters here, and it's done well on Netflix. Big reason, again, some of the stuff has gone viral for sure. That's helped kind of put eyeballs in the movie in the country. And now, I mean, it's not fucking Avatar. It's not Avengers Endgame.
Right, of course.
Yeah, it's picking up steam.
This is the closest I think I've ever come to experiencing what it's like to be on hard drugs, because I turned on this movie. And okay, subtitles, whatever. And I kind of get a basic movie's about. And then I didn't. And then there's a fucking train crash. and there's slow coming out. Like Zack Snyder would watch this movie and be like, "Wow, this is ridiculous. Like you guys got to chill it with the slow mo."
But the slow mo in this is, come on, tell me the slow mo in this is not better. And I like Zack Snyder, but the slow mo in this is like, I think it's significantly easier to digest than Zack Snyder's slow mo.
Slow mo. It padded 30 minutes to the runtime, so it didn't really, it didn't have much impact on me. And then there was a shitty looking CG tiger, and then somebody got married, and then there was a dance sequence and a musical sequence, and so it's like I just think what it comes down to is that all the things you guys are using as pros, I view as cons. I thought this was completely
even the musical numbers, like it's not just one.
They were well done, but they were entirely out of place. The first one was 50 minutes into the movie. The title doesn't show up until, and I checked that out too. I've never seen a movie.
15 titles, by the way, title cards. It's amazing.
That's right. No, but the official RRR is not like till 40 minutes. And dude, I'm sorry. The biggest issue is that what you guys are saying, like, I could ironically like this movie if you cut its runtime down by 60%. But dude, this movie, I cannot stress this enough, is 3 hours and 5 fucking minutes. That is lunacy. I mean, that is a longer runtime than the Batman. And so I'm watching this, and it just kept going and going and going and going. I had to sit there. It took me 2 days to finish this, and every time it felt like the movie was getting longer and longer. It felt like it was extending its runtime every time. And I guess in terms of memeability and like just its overall weirdness, I understand why people are connecting with it. But I have a hard time saying that like it's, objectively coherent. It's completely all over the place. Now,
I gotta disagree on one thing.
Ways that will work for people.
I don't think so. If you don't like it, that's fine. I won't go at you on that. I don't agree on the fact that the musical numbers were out. I think they all fit the story perfectly. Like I think if you see what they're talking about, what they're saying through something, like it fits the story. That's how movies are made in India. That's part of what happens in these movies. Like I think it fits the story fine. I don't think any of them are out of place. I think they moved the narrative long, yes. But I don't think it was like, oh, what the fuck was that random musical number? Like I thought they fit the story perfectly fine.
It felt random when you are 50 minutes into a movie and they decide to break out in song. It's like if the first musical sequence in West Side Story was the Tonight Quintet. Let me ask you, this is the thing, Chris, now.
Was this the first Indian movie you've watched? Like the movie produced in India, not based in India.
I would say probably, yeah.
Okay, so it's a standard practice in basically every movie that gets made, and like that's something where it's like you're almost waiting for the musical number, even though it's not billed to you as a musical.
That's fair, but like the one that, and I know it's technically, I think it's made by a British director, but it's an homage to Indian cinema. But like Slumdog Millionaire ended with the music, the dance sequence.
Which, Kendrick, you may know better than me. Wasn't that movie not like panned, but it wasn't as beloved in India because they said like there weren't enough musical numbers. They were like, it's just kind of at the end. Like it wasn't a Bollywood movie in that sense, or a which would have been a Bollywood movie, I guess.
Yeah, it's just straight up English movie with a homage to India, despite being setting.
It had the dance sequence at the end. I remember there was pushback because the main characters kiss at the end of the movie. That was something that at the time, at least, I don't know, maybe 15 years later, it's frowned upon. So I mean, look, it's where like a rating to me is irrelevant here because and it's why I'm glad to do this show with you guys because I find the different perspectives very interesting. I do think there will be a generation of people who will get high, watch this on Netflix and lose their minds because it's so crazy, bombastic, and all over the place. And then there will be someone like me who's a stick in the mud who's gonna just sit down and watch it and sit through 3 hours and say, "What the fuck was that?" every 5 minutes. Now, I mean, it will fit for multiple camps there, and I think it will make for an interesting experience. I was not aware of what this thing was before I came in. Maybe I should have done a little bit more research. I don't know, but even beyond that, look, even despite my qualms and criticisms, really the big thing is like 3 hours for this is just insane. Like that was the big issue. Is I don't think it's an awful story. I think it's told kind of bizarrely, obviously. But I don't think that the story is interesting enough to warrant its runtime, and that is probably the biggest complaint I have with nowadays is the way that they're paced. And this thing just wow.
I'm gonna throw you on some big time Bollywood movies later, like ones that I think you'll enjoy that still have the musical numbers. There's Gabu Gashi Gabi Gam. There's Main Hu Na. You'd like that's like Back to School with like a little bit of a secret agent twist to it. I think you'd really dig it. It's very very. There's a whole bunch that I think like more people should watch because like they have that same sort of feeling as this movie where it's like every one of them has this super bombastic feel to it. It's like you're watching like some troupe perform like almost in the street or something. It's like insane how just up in the air it is, and that's what I kind of love about their movies.
For reference, the movie KGF Chapter 2 is the newer Indian movie that came out that is now like an even bigger deal in India. Sequel to a 2018 movie. Gooch, what'd you think?
Chris, were you disappointed because it wasn't a pirate movie?
No, not this time.
Had to get that one off. I loved it. You know what it felt like? It felt like I was like 8 years old watching WWE again. It's like it's just cheesy, over the top, but like it's just awesome. Like the opening sequence where he's just running through like 1,000 people when he's underneath that pile, and that I love that shot actually. When he's underneath the pile, it shows him like grabbing hands and like poking people's hands to get free. Like love that. The friendship montage. 45 minutes in. Yes. It goes on for about 10 minutes. And they're like riding a horse and riding a motorcycle together, just doing all that. Like they're doing squats with each other on their shoulders. Like, yeah, it's dudes. The genre is dudes rock. Like,
big time.
It's just incredible. It just keeps going and delivering. Like he uses a tiger as a fucking weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just incredible. Ginny was the weakest character. Did not care for Ginny. Didn't like her name right off the bat. The comedy at points when it tries to be funny, I don't think it works. Like when it's
inadvertently fun humor is better than the actual
inadvertently fun stuff. I give it a 90. Just like was a like you said, Jeff. It's a must see. Like there's no way to really explain. Like if you try to explain it without showing somebody like clips from it, it wouldn't work. Like there's no way to like sell this movie properly without just seeing what it is. God, there's so many funny parts. Like they're swinging with the bridge scene when they like they just look at each other and they immediately every time they do
hand signals and they figure the entire thing out. It's incredible.
The bridge scene, the fact that you got one of them holding the Indian flag, the other saving a kid, and it perfectly describes the movie. Someone going for the kids, someone going for country. They combined like I'm not saying it's got this crazy deep meaning, but like there's clearly some like imagery they're trying to show there. I love that. There's a scene. Would you have stood up in the theater when he fucking drifts with the truck and all the animals jump out?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
Holy fuck.
That was better than Avengers Assemble.
It was insane. It was insane. I think it was better executed than the Ultron one.
And they all just come flying out at the exact same time. He's jumping out with the torch. Like it rocks. It's so cool.
The Nacho musical number is fucking unbelievable. That's the one that I did say went viral. Even if you haven't seen this movie, there may be something like, I've seen that dance everywhere.
The actual closing fight where they go like full like bow and arrows, everything in the woods with like the flaming arrows and shit. Like that was so goddamn cool. And like the slow-mo of all that, I think really works. It really aids a lot of the sort of dramatic and bombastic effect of it. And I get where it would be tiring, Chris, for sure.
The fucking bow and arrow shot, slow-mo with the fire.
Dude.
Oh,
the one where he shoots the bow and arrow at a guy and you think it misses because it hits a tree and it like lands right in front of his eye. And then he comes up and he kicks the bow and arrow into the guy's head like, through the tree.
Yep.
He picks up a motorcycle just with one arm over his head.
The movie is so goddamn.
It's like they both took like super soldier serum.
Exactly, but that's what's so great about it. It is the definition of over the top, which is.
I actually wonder if Chris watched more like Tollywood, Bollywood movies, if he would go back and watch this, because I will say, it's a completely different like. It fits the style of type of movie that you would watch more. They're not all like this. Like again, the movie I just talked about, the KGF Chapter 2, like that looks different than this, but like it has that same feel. Like it is big. It is like it's bombastic. I use that word recently. I'll use it again. It's full of dance numbers. I'm just like it fits that style of movie from there. Which I'm not saying you factor it into like how you like it. Like if you don't like that style, you don't like that style. But it is a big thing. Why? So I'm curious if you watch more indie movies, which Kenjack would be the guy to suggest to you. I don't know if you'd go back and like him. I don't know.
There's somewhere I think you'd like him. It's just like it'll be an experimentation.
I so love that like Raj's hair was just perfect no matter what.
Dude, he was hot as fuck. That actor was so goddamn hot. It was crazy.
Perfectly groomed the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'll start you on is I'll start you on Shah Rukh Khan movies because he's basically the Leonardo DiCaprio of India, except he's like 50 million times richer than Leonardo DiCaprio. Wow. Like insane levels of wealth he has. I wonder what it is. It's definitely like very close to $1 billion, which is like is insane for any actor here.
Yeah.
In the United States anyway. But I'll start you off. I'll give you a little list of ones you might like.
Oh my God. Just keep them under 3 hours.
I need to see more. I need to see more of Raja and Beam together. Like I would love for them to figure out a way to like Raja and Beam versus the Nazi Empire. I don't know how they do it, but like it was just so ridiculous. Like I would buy in immediately to like something like that because it's just so over the top. And once you're sold on that, and the movie itself was very self-aware of how ridiculous it was and executed on that. Like it wasn't. Like Jeff said, it never really took me out of the movie because it was all sold together as just kind of monotonous. Like it made sense when it was happening. I don't know.
Dude,
yeah, it's
Shah Rukh Khan. It's $750 million net worth for an actor. That's insanity.
That is nuts. Yeah, it has a lane. It finds its lane and it never leaves that lane. It's a lot. It's crazy. It's a fucking crazy movie in like the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. I wonder who the richest is. The Rock, he's worth like as an equal level as The Rock. And The Rock has all those other side ventures. I mean, Shah Rukh Khan just basically acts and does a few other things. That's crazy.
When they're escaping from the prison and he throws Raja on his shoulders and they're just running, he's just running around and Raja's got 2 guns. He's like dual wielding akimbos.
Yep. Dude, it's so fucking funny. I love that movie. I love it.
Oh my God. This is good because like this is so much better than reviewing something dumb, which there's not very many good things out right now. This was such a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the movie's great too, and like it's accessible. Like everyone can watch it. It's on Netflix, so
yeah, it is on Netflix again. Reminder, so you can go watch it there. But man, I wish I would have seen this on a big fucking screen.
Yeah,
like just and also you can if you want to. There are clips online of people watching this in India in the theater, and the way people react to it is fucking awesome. Like if people go nuts. Also, the Dragon Ball theater reactions are crazy too. By the way, I went back and watched those.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
They're really ass theaters, you know it.
You got like people standing up in front of the theater before the show, like going like, "Lend me your power."
Do a full ass spirit bomb.
Oh my God.
That's RRR. Go check it out on Netflix. It's crazy. It's just fucking nuts. And also, I will always laugh at he's not an American actor, but I always laugh at like a recognizable actor, like an English speaking actor in movies like this, and that cracks me up with racism.
Dude, what's her name? The girl from that is the Nazi woman from Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, the third one, Last Crusade. That's like the Nazi lady who sleeps with both Indiana Jones and Sean Connery. And later, I forget what happens to her, but she definitely dies. Oh, she falls down. She falls in the crack when like the earthquake happens at the end of the movie. That was the wife in RRR.
It reminded me of the movies you reviewed with Donnie that one time with like Adrian Brody.
Oh, Dragon Blade.
Wolf Warrior 2 was awesome, but Dragon Blade was like mind-blowingly bizarre.
Wasn't Fat Buddies?
Fat Buddies was also very fun.
We did The Mermaid too.
Yeah. The Mermaid.
The Mermaid was crazy. But no, yeah, Adrian Brody and then John Cusack, good friend of Barstool Sports, was in.
Fact. Shout out White Sox Dave.
Dragon Blade. Wasn't there like a kid that just screamed relentlessly in that movie?
Oh, the kid's name was like Lucas or something, or Lucian, I forget. But that kid just all he did was yell the entire movie. It was so annoying.
Oh my God. Okay.
I wish I had a friend like that. God.
A friend like Roger and yeah, me too. Someone that I could just rescue children with, or like throw off a burning building, or
fake falls in the dance contest.
Yeah, dude. That dance was awesome too, especially because they had the British dudes trying to imitate it and they sucked at.
Yeah.
He's like the flamenco.
It's a dude's rock movie. It's also the Brits suck movie. They really dump on the Brits.
That's what makes it so good too. Is that it's like one of the #1 British people suck movie.
Yeah,
they really if you're British, maybe look away. Get made fun of relentlessly.
Beating in that movie.
That's it. So next week I think Vengeance. Maybe we'll do. Let's do I Love My Dad and The Man-Tied Tale. But we can also, if you haven't seen Vengeance, make sure you watch Vengeance. Vengeance is like one of my favorite year. Yeah, the Red Letter Media did just do it too.
Yeah.
Yep. Someone just told me on Twitter that Jackass Forever is not a film, and I think that's one of the worst takes we've ever heard. It's literally
what is it?
Who are you? Aaron Stroud. Get the fuck out of here, Aaron. It's a long YouTube clip of guys getting hit in the cock.
I mean, stop. They made 3 movies beforehand. Yeah.
It sounds like you didn't see it.
We need to get Martin Scorsese's take.
Yeah.
You think Martin Scorsese's seen any of the movies?
There's a guy we work with. I was mind blown by this. And maybe I'm wrong. You know the show C on Apple TV Plus?
Yes.
There's a guy we work with, Tony. He works in finance. Good dude. He had an Instagram story up yesterday, and it said I just gotta pull it up. Hold on. I couldn't believe this.
Please don't tell me he's saying C is good.
His Instagram story. It says, "We're so back," and the TV is a little dark. And I'm like, "Is that?" He was away. He was in another country for the last week. So I'm like, "Oh, he's watching Thrones," and the TV's dark. And all of a sudden, the title card comes up, and it says C. And I'm like, "What?" And so I just DM'd him. I go, "Sir," and I said, "I can't believe you watched C." And he goes, "You don't like C?" And I said, "I got to reference you on the pod." He said, "Haha, C is sick, dude." And I like this, not a knock on Tony. I'm like, "I got to reference you in the pod. I've never seen anybody who watches C."
Gooch, you got to now post that Game of Thrones clip of all the TVs and be like, look at all the households tuning into C.
I got to do it.
I was just like laying down in bed, or where was it? Yeah. And I'm like, he's finally watching Thrones. That's cool. And then when the title card came up, I was like, what the fuck? Who's watching C? But it got renewed, so somebody did, I guess. Or did it get canceled?
I think it got renewed, which is...
Oh, my God.
Tony's keeping him in business.
Yeah. Shout out to Tony.
The wildest thing about C is it's like one of the 5 most expensive series of all time.
Yeah. It's an insane budget.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's it. So make sure to watch I Love My Dad and the Man-Tied Tale documentary, and then we will talk Vengeance, which you should check out. Vengeance is cool. Also, shout out to anyone who is from Texas, because you'll like some of the references. That's it. For Ken, Jack, Chris, Gooch, and Jeff D'Lo, we'll talk to you next time.